really can't roll anymore. Chapter 1391 Dark Mark, additional update. After he finished speaking, he looked at Feng Qingran. Those abyss-like eyes held endless stories and said, "Is this your contractor?" The god-killing spear said in a dull voice, "She is my contractor, Feng Qingran. She is very good to me. It was she who found this place and brought me here." "Not bad," he said with joy in his voice. "Junior Feng Qingran, I have met my senior," Feng Qingran said politely. "Okay, I'm the demon ancestor Rahu. You are a highly accomplished person. God-killing is more useful in your hands than in mine." After Luo Hu finished speaking, the shadow dimmed a bit. His eyes fell on Feng Qingran, and there seemed to be infinite darkness in his eyes, as if he was looking at something through Feng Qingran. Life and death are connected by a thread, and all things are ultimately one. Luo Hu's voice gradually became distant, and his shadow gradually dissipated. Feng Qingran bowed respectfully to the statue. A red talisman floated out from between the statue's eyebrows and landed in front of Feng Qingran. Feng Qingran raised his hand to catch the talisman. The blood-red talisman seems to be able to swallow everything, and it also seems to exude some kind of power. This is the dark mark of the demon clan. It is equivalent to a full force blow from the Lord of the Void. It can also withstand a full force blow from the Lord of the Void. God-killing spear said. "Yeah," Feng Qingran responded lightly. "This dark mark contains the aura of divine soul power. It should have been condensed by Senior Luo Hu during his lifetime. But Senior Luo Hu didn't die here, so before he left, did he already guess that he wouldn't come back? Senior Luo Hu went back in time and knew all the beginnings and endings. He tried his best to change his past destiny. But in the end, he can change nothing. Is it because his ways are wrong, or is it because the past cannot be changed? But one thing is certain. That is going back in time. The more creatures involved, the greater the cause and effect involved, and the greater the power required. Moreover, going back in time is only the beginning of consuming power. What really requires more power is after the time back is successful." Feng Qingran's expression gradually became serious. Boom. The statue behind Rahu began to move, clearing a way. The entrance to a palace appeared in Feng Qingran's sight. Bronze Palace. This bronze palace was not the one she had seen before. The rock bird is carved at the entrance. Wangui Banner took the lead in flying to the entrance of the bronze palace, and the things inside were what he liked. Feng Qingran stepped forward and placed the candle dragon scale in a position. The bronze palace door slowly opened. The breath of darkness came to my face. Feng Qingran stopped at the gate and did not rush in. She could sense that there was a terrifying formation inside the palace. There was no guarantee that she would be able to escape unscathed after entering. "Phoenix Master, don't go in, let me and Wangui Banner go in," God-killing spear said. "It is good." At this moment, two voices sounded at the same time. Phoenix Master, I also want to go in and have a look," Jushuanzi Spirit said. "Phoenix Master, can I come in?" Swallowing consciousness tone was full of pleading. Feng Qingran raised her hand and released the Jushuan Spirit. "You go in with CO1 and God-killer." As for swallowing consciousness, she refused. Devouring consciousness is the consciousness of the way of devouring, and is almost one with her. If the devouring consciousness encounters an accident, the backlash to her will be irreversible. Chaos Clock was on the side, very well behaved, and didn't say anything about going in. It doesn't like the smell inside. And if it is outside, if something happens to the God-killing gun or the others, it can also use the method of reversing time and space to pull them out. The God-killing spear, the 10,000 ghost flags, and the 9 mysterious spirits entered the bronze palace. Swallowing consciousness into self-isolation. It began to search the memories it had swallowed again, looking for the reason why Feng Qingran rejected it. "I don't have any preference, I just don't care. You should leave as soon as possible. When this happens, you should reflect on yourself. Did you do something wrong? Isn't rejecting you enough to explain everything?" Ellipsis. Devouring consciousness instantly shuts him down. "Swallow, it's too dangerous inside. You still have a weak consciousness. If you are in danger after entering, no one can save you," Feng Qingran said through the message. "Phoenix Master, are you worried about me?" Devouring consciousness said excitedly. "Ah." Devouring consciousness immediately apologized to Feng Qingran. "Master Feng, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you." It decided again that it would never look for answers in other people's memories again. Feng Qingran calmed down the swallowing consciousness and received the news from the God-killing spear. The palace is filled with evil spirits. The entrance was filled with dead bones. Further inside, you can see 2 statues of ancestral witches and a sacrificial formation. The spirit of Juxuan is absorbing the power inside. 10,000 ghost banners are happily absorbing the remaining souls and resentments. There are various runes engraved in the hall. God-killing spear shared everything he saw with Feng Qingran. Feng Qingran recognized part of the content as a spell from the mermaid tribe. "I saw another record. The 12 witch ancestors can only cultivate their bodies, but they can never cultivate their souls. This is a law and cannot be violated. If he forcibly cultivates his soul, he will suffer backlash and die young." At the same time, Wang Yiban passed on a memory of the remaining soul to her. Several people wearing animal-shaped masks gathered together. Some of them have human heads and animal bodies, and some have animal heads and human bodies. A man with a golden snake body said angrily, Why can't we cultivate the soul? I won't accept it, the world is unfair." The others were silent for a moment. A man wearing a green mask said, "This is the rule derived from the law, and it is also our way. There is no way to violate it. We might as well find a way to refine the body. Why bother to cultivate the soul? HMPH, the law is unfair, so let's change the law. I don't believe it. There is really no way to change one's destiny against nature in the universe. Yes, why should we accept our fate? What did we do wrong? Cultivation of the body is not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe we can find a way to make the body immortal. Taoism is natural. As long as we find the right way, we can definitely succeed." There is no need to be obsessed with cultivating the soul. Nowadays, the world is all about cultivating the soul, and also pays attention to the unity of the soul and the soul. That kind of attack cannot be compared with the body. If we only train the body, we will end up with close combat, which will be very disadvantageous. Then what do you want to do? I want to practice the power of witchcraft I found. That kind of power is very suitable for us. As long as we practice this kind of power, we will definitely be able to dominate the universe. Ellipsis. After reading this record, Fang Qingran finally understood why the witch clan embarked on the path of cultivating the power of witchcraft. It's not that they don't want to practice other powers. It's because of their rules and regulations that they can't cultivate the power in the universe. The power of witchcraft and trickery released by the 9 mysterious spirits just goes beyond the rules and gives hope to the witch clan. No wonder the witch clan is unwilling to give up even if they discover the backlash of the witch's power. Because they have no choice. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 1392 Witch Clan Totem. Phoenix Master, I found some strange totems. This thing seems to have no way to share spiritual consciousness. The god-killing spear said. What kind of totem? Fang Qingran asked curiously. From the memory just now, it can be seen that half of the 12 witch ancestors should be demons or beasts. Totems must be very important to the witch clan. In the era where the 12 witch clan lived, the human race had not really appeared yet. At that time, those who could incarnate as humans were very sacred and mysterious beings. Most creatures will be in awe of humanoids. So they don't dare to turn into a complete human form easily. But in their hearts they long to turn into human form, and many creatures will choose to turn part of their bodies into human form. Until later, Empress Nuwa created the human race in the image of God. In this way, sentient beings will not dare to incarnate into human form because they are afraid of the existence of gods. Many creatures are very grateful to Nuwa Empress for allowing them to transform into human form and gain more cultivation methods. The god-killing spear was silent for a moment, and then transmitted the message, there is a dragon in these totems, but this dragon is a little twisted. The dragon that should be flying in the clouds is coiled like a snake, and even shows a posture of surrender. There is also the phoenix. The phoenix spreads its wings and is reborn from the fire, but the runes around this phoenix are like flowing water, forming a kind of suppression on the phoenix. There is also the kiln. The kiln steps on the auspicious clouds and brings blessings. But in this totem, the kiln does not bring auspiciousness. Instead, it causes disasters and destroys the balance of heaven and earth. Xuanwu. White tiger. Suzaku. Ellipsis. These totem beasts mentioned by the god-killing spear have all received various countermeasures. The phoenix that loves fire is in the water. The long-lived Xuanwu has become a fragile existence. The mighty white tiger became a cowardly existence. After being derived from Tao, these beasts that can protect the common people, bring auspiciousness and vitality, and symbolize beauty are completely reversed in the totem. Are the 12 witch ancestors using this method to protest against the Tao's restrictions on them? The god-killing spear didn't quite understand, so he continued to look until he saw a black snake totem. The god-killing spear paused. The snake on the totem was surrounded by purple gold thunder symbols. Master Phoenix, there is an exceptional totem. The main position of this totem is a black snake. It is in a respected position among these totems, and it has the vague meaning of suppressing all beasts. Black snake totem. Fang Qingran immediately thought of the black snake Fang Zhitu mentioned. A black snake that appeared in prehistoric times and then quickly disappeared. Could it really be related to the 12 witch ancestors? Fang Qingran recalled Yan Yu's cautious attitude after hearing about Black Snake, and felt more and more that Black Snake's origin was not simple. Yes, Lord Phoenix, these totems are engraved on one wall. The Black Snake is the top totem, and the other totems are below it. The god-killing spear said. Fang Qingran heard this and asked, God Killer, are there runes or some mysterious ancient texts engraved around these totems? The god-killing spear observed it and saw only the runes on the totem. But thinking of Fang Qingran's question, the god-killing spear paused and pierced directly towards the black snake totem on the wall. In an instant, a barrier was propped up to block the god-killing spear that wanted to attack the totem. Dense runes lit up on the wall, and there were crisscrossing lines connecting all the totems together. God-killing spear immediately understood that there was a hidden formation on the wall. Phoenix Master, there are indeed ancient texts. I counted them carefully and found that there are 81 of these totems. They should follow the method of returning 9 to 1. The god-killing spear said. Fang Qingran heard what the god-killing spear said and wanted to see what the totem looked like in person. Maybe the secret of the witch clan is hidden in the totem. Fang Qingran thought of the god of sacrifice and Xuanming and Tian King whom he met in the bronze palace before. They all seemed to want to take her away. They can only cultivate the body, so they want to change a body and break the restrictions of the law. Naturally, ordinary bodies cannot meet their requirements. That's why they would store their souls in the bronze palace, lure a suitable body in, and then seize the body. The only ones suitable and able to accommodate the souls of the witch clan must be those extremely rare and favored bodies. For example, the innate Tao fetus. Could it be that the innate Tao embryos that appeared in the battlefield of the gods were prepared for the god of sacrifice? The netherworld Kun who appeared on the battlefield of the gods may have another name, Kunpeng. Godkiller, can you think of a way to bring the totem out? Fang Qingran asked via voice transmission. The god-killing spear received the message from Fang Qingran and looked at the formation formed on the wall. Master Fang, Wangui banner and I will find a way. You wait outside and don't even think about coming in. It is really afraid that Fang Qingran will come here in pursuit of the truth. There are countless traps and formations in the bronze palace. It and the 10,000 ghost banners are magic weapons. Once entered, these traps cannot be activated. But once Fang Qingran steps here, he will definitely be trapped in the formation. After explaining the matter with the god-killing spear, he looked at the totems on the wall and shouted to the 10,000 ghost banners and 9 mysterious spirits, you too, come here. Wang Giban said excitedly, wait a minute, I want to eat as much as I can. So many remnants of the ancient world are so delicious. Duke Schwinstrid also refused. I'm still absorbing the power here, wait a moment. The god-killing spear said calmly. 3. Don't rush me, I'm busy. Wang Yifan said. Ignoring the god-killing spear, 2. You're not in a hurry, just give me a little more time. Zhu Xuanzistrid said. The voice of the god-killing spear gradually became colder. 1. Before the god-killing spear could finish speaking, Wang Guibana and Duke Schwinstrid had already arrived in front of the god-killing spear. Wang Giban pretended to be nonchalant and said, Why did you ask me to come here? The spirit of the 9 mysteries hid behind Wang Guibana. The god-killing spear was too terrifying, so let Wang Guibana face it. Wang Guiban noticed the movements of the 9 mysterious spirits and immediately became happy. He played with it and played with the rest, which was great. Find a way to get these totems out. God-killing spear said. Wang Guiban investigated it and said, this totem is connected to the entire palace. It is difficult to deal with. Even though they're just totems, they're aggressive and may bite us if we don't get it right. Duke Schwinstrid also echoed, these totems are not a good thing. Let's just take a look. Why take them out? A totem that can only be cultivated with the power of witchcraft is meaningless. Have you seen these totems? God-killing spear asked. I've seen it before. Isn't this practiced by the witch clan? The witch clan spells are taken from totems, so the witch clan are all short-lived ghosts. However, the technique of raising gu recorded here can be used. Zhu Xuanji Dao. Wang Guibana circled around and pushed the small black and white cloud in front of the god-killing spear. God-killing, it seems to understand it very well, why not let it? Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 1393 Green Tea 9 Mysterious Spirits. Zhu Xuan's hair suddenly exploded. What do you want me to do? Wang Giban said quietly, I don't want to do anything, I just want you to draw them or write them all down. Why me? Why don't you draw or remember? Duke Schwinstrid was not happy. This kind of totem is the most cumbersome. If you remember one mistake, the effect will be completely different. It should not be a thankless thing. Then what are you going to do? Why don't you go grab them and take them out? Wang Guibana asked instead of answering Duke Schwinstrid's words. They can't be detached. The formations around them are connected to the totems. If you want to deduct them, you have to demolish the entire palace first. Duke Schwinstrid said matter-of-factly. This palace is full of mysteries. If it is really demolished, who knows what will happen? Wang Giban pretended to be frustrated and said, but Phoenix Master wants to see these totems, but we can't take them out, so we can't take them out. So what should we do? Duke Schwinstrid hesitated. The god-killing spear said, these totems contain secret techniques that cannot be imprinted. We have no way of remembering them, so we can only find a way to take them away. Things that cannot be shared by spiritual consciousness cannot be imprinted. And it discovered that it had almost forgotten what it had just relayed to the Phoenix Master. This means that there are prohibitions on the totem. The god-killing spear tried to destroy the barrier again, but still failed. Seeing this, the Duke Schwinstrid began to sense the power of witchcraft in the entire palace. Totem use requires the power of witchcraft. If it swallows up all the witchcraft power in the entire palace, will the barrier on the totem disappear? Countless witchcraft powers surged towards the Duke Schwinstrid. The god-killing spear and the 10,000 ghost banners retreated slightly to allow the Duke Schwinstrid to absorb the power. God-killer, CO1, Zhu Xuan, come out quickly, the bronze door is about to close. Fang Qingren's voice sounded. The god-killing spear and the 10,000 ghost banners heard this and were the first to react. Duke Schwinstrid was one step behind. Boom. The heavy door slowly closed. Fang Qingren held the scale of the candle dragon and breathed a sigh of relief when he saw the god-killing spear, the 10,000 ghost flags, and the 9 mysterious spirits coming out successfully. The spirit of Duke Shun came to Fang Qingren. Master Fang, I'm sorry, I only had time to take off this totem. A square stone as big as a palm floated not far from Fang Qingren. Wang Giban asked, when did you do it? When the bronze gate was about to close, the barrier protecting the totem disappeared, so I took the opportunity to grab one of the most important totems. After Duke Schwinstrid said this, he was frightened and said, Master Phoenix, both the god-killing spear and the 10,000 ghost flags ran away at that time. I was also panicked, so I only brought this piece out. Don't blame me. God-killing spear. Wangui banner. Chaos bell gloated. God-killing spear, 10,000 ghost banners. If you ask me, you're really too cowardly, why are you running so fast? Fang Zhichu watched the play with gusto. This kind of scene was often written in storybooks and was called fighting for favor. Zhu Xuanjiling plays little green tea. The chaos clock is responsible for arching fire. The god-killing spear and the 10,000 ghost banners looked confused. Of course, Fang Qingran could tell that the Zhu Xuanstrid tea smelled like tea, and she raised her lips and smiled, I don't blame you. I also want to thank you for your hard work in bringing out a totem. The bronze palace disappeared when the Zhu Xuanstrids came out. Fang Qingran looked at the totem in front of her. Why was this black snake so similar to the soaring snake? Is soaring snake related to the witch clan? Fang Qingran remembered the last time she mentioned the mermaid princess, Yuji, and Teng she seemed extremely excited. In other words, Teng Snake's allegiance is not to the leader of Shuaiman at all, but to the Wu clan, which is also the current mermaid clan. Fang Qingran felt the power above the totem. In addition to the power of witchcraft, there was also a power similar to Quan Chong's staff. Fang Qingran raised his hand and took out the staff of Quan Chong, and looked at the totem again, wanting to give it a try. But she found that as long as she moved her eyes away from the totem, everything on the totem would immediately disappear from her sea of consciousness. Fang Qingran created a field, stared at the totem, and drew the totem with Quan Chong's staff. Hiss. A black giant snake phantom appeared. The black shadow stared at Fang Qingran with a pair of extremely cold eyes. Fang Qingran felt threatened by the shadow. Black snake glanced at the staff of Quan Chong in Fang Qingran's hand again, and finally hit the boundary of the domain. The shadow hits the field and dissipates automatically. Fang Qingran discovered that there were cracks in the boundary of her domain. The strength in the body was directly reduced by half. Fang Qingran put away Quan Chong's staff and totem with a serious expression. I finally understood why the great powers in the prehistoric era were so afraid of the Wu clan. I also understand why the Wu clan is desperately looking for a way to extend their lives. Master Feng, are you okay? That power just now was so dangerous, it seems to want to attack you. Feng Zhiqiu said in a slightly worried voice. I'm fine, Fang Qingran responded. She could draw what was on the totem, but she had no control over it. Fang Qingran had a vague feeling that the black snake phantom just now was conscious. This is very wrong. Master Feng, the black snake's shadow and aura are almost exactly the same as the black snake that appeared in the prehistoric period. Feng Zhiqiu said. The witch clan is playing a big game. Fang Qingran's eyes were sharp. Maybe the mermaid clan was just a cover-up for the witch clan. The leader of Xuanmen may be the real witch clan. After all, if the witch clan wants to cultivate their souls and live long, gods favored by the law will inevitably become their first choice. After meeting the Dark Lord of Xuanmen, Fifth Senior Sister told her that the 40 talisman in her hand was also a totem. Listen to the description of Fifth Senior Sister. The totems in 40 talisman are similar to the totems in the Bronze Palace, but not exactly the same. At least the totems in 40 ways of talisman are normal. The dragon inside has the dignity it deserves. When Fifth Senior Sister practiced 40 ways of divine talisman, her lifespan did not decrease sharply. There was just one thing that made her confused. The ancestors of the Kang family seemed to be from the Wu clan, so the descendants of the Kang family should also be from the Wu clan. However, the shackles of the Wu clan's inability to cultivate their souls did not appear on the Kang family. Senior Kang Xuanji practiced the 40 ways of divine talisman, and also practiced it with his soul, but he did not suffer any backlash. Maybe these secrets still need to be answered by Taoism. Fang Qingran withdrew the domain. Looking towards the place where the Bronze Palace disappeared, a cave appeared there. Fang Qingran remembered that on the map given by Tang Chongzhu, it was marked that there was a cave here. The layout of Demon Devouring Abyss is very simple. After the statues of demons, there is a cave. As for the Bronze Palace, it must have appeared later. Fang Qingran stepped into the cave. It was not big and very empty. There are many ancient texts carved on the cave walls. She couldn't recognize them all, so she simply rubbed them all. After doing all this, Fang Qingran returned to the entry position again. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 1394 Dalton's Coon is injured, additional update. Fang Qingran bowed to all the statues. Senior, I'm leaving. After I leave, no one will bother you. Fang Qingran took the god-killing spear back into space, turned around and left the barrier. After she came out, just as she was about to add a seal, she found that the gap below had disappeared. The two mountains are connected together. It was as if the crack had never existed. Little girl, thank you. The future is long and I hope you can walk your own path. An ancient and distant voice fell into Fang Qingran's ears. Fang Qingran had mixed feelings. Could it be that the demon devouring abyss, like the Bronze Palace, could move? Senior demon ancestor traveled back to the past through the demon god of time, hoping to change everyone's destiny. But he probably had a premonition deep in his heart. The development trajectory of some things is not something he can change. Therefore, he was afraid that if the demon devouring abyss stopped in one position, it would be exposed and cause unnecessary trouble. So let the demon devouring abyss be discovered and moved once. Tang Chongzhu, who came over, also found that the demon devouring abyss had disappeared. Fang Qingran returned the map to Tang Chongzhu, and at the same time handed him a box. Thank you, this is a thank you gift, it should be useful to you. Tang Chongzhu did not refuse and accepted it. His consciousness penetrated into the box, and he suddenly turned pale and looked horrified. What's inside? Fang Qingran said via voice, this is a trace of demonic energy I found inside. It's very powerful, I don't know what it is, but it must be very suitable for you. Fang Qingran thought about it, but still didn't tell Tang Chongzhu that it was Hongmeng's demonic energy. She didn't want to gamble on human greed. Even though Tang Chongzhu was a demon who could distinguish right from wrong, she still wouldn't gamble. There was another reason why she didn't tell Tang Chongzhu. Tang Chongzhu is a demon derived from heaven and earth. The Hongmeng demon energy that has been refined by the fire will not cause damage to it. Moreover, Tang Chongzhu is a demon in his own plane. He is powerful and it is the plane that benefits from him. The more powerful people there are on the plane, the more confident she can leave. Thank you, I'll keep it a secret. Tang Chongzhu knew very well how powerful this trace of demonic energy was. No matter whether Fang Qingran still has this thing or not, no one can know that he got this kind of demonic energy from Fang Qingran. Farewell. Fang Qingran raised her hand in salute, opened a rift in time and space, and left the demon world. What she showed up again was a small world full of devastation. The consciousness of heaven in the small world has long become a dark consciousness. Fang Qingran stood on the sky, looking at the alienated beasts running rampant below, with cold eyes. It was really here. 9 mysterious spirits, go deal with the dark consciousness. Fang Qingran said coldly. Leave it to me, Lord Phoenix, don't worry. The spirit of Zhu Xuan left happily. Fang Qingran dodged a few times and landed on an ocean in the small world. The vast expanse of ocean is actually filled with blood-red water. Occasionally a whine can be heard. Fang Qingran's body was filled with pressure and her eyes were filled with murderous intent. She knew that the voice belonged to Da Kun. Fang Qingran set up an isolation circle around her body and entered the sea. The sea was pitch black. Fang Qingran kept going deeper and finally reached the bottom of the sea. I really saw Da Kun here. After seeing Da Kun's appearance clearly, Fang Qingran's eyes were filled with distress. The giant Kun's body occupies almost the entire seabed. But half of its flesh and blood had been cut off, exposing its bones. Da Kun closed his eyes and was dying. He could only occasionally let out a painful whine. Da Kun. Fang Qingran's voice trembled slightly. Da Kun always likes to call her, Little Master. Kun, who always loved to stick to her, didn't even react at all when she came closer. Fang Qingren's hand gently landed on Kun's head, releasing the power of divine consciousness, wrapping Kun's body and sending it into the void space. Fang Qingren raised her hand to seal the seal again. In an instant, seawater poured in, and the whole small world was in turmoil. You want the benefits of Kun's flesh and blood, right? Then you should bear the consequences. After Fang Qingren said coldly, she stepped into the void space. She used the force to drag Kun. The big Kun appeared, alarming several small ones in the space. Zhu Zhao noticed something was wrong with Kun's wound. There was a cold force preventing its wound from healing. Was it to keep Kun bleeding? Zhu Zhao mobilized his whole body's strength and carefully removed the things from Kun's wound. After the candle lighting was completed, a few purple leaves fell near Kun's wound, emitting a faint light. Xiao Fang, don't be sad, it can still be saved. Hong Mengshu said. Master Phoenix, who did this? Wan Ling asked with great anger when he saw Kun's appearance. Fang Qingren did not respond to Hong Mengshu and Wan Ling. She walked up to Kun, sat cross-legged, and closed her eyes. Ordinary methods cannot save Kun. She wants to use the method of vitality evolution. When Yuan Bao saw the big Kun, he immediately flew to find its healing medicine. The Phoenix Lord's method of vitality evolution can only give Kun life. There was no way to replace the flesh and blood that had been cut off from Kun. The little mushroom said to Loyalty Gu, Yuan, I want to grow a mushroom that can grow flesh and blood when eaten. Is there any way? Loyalty Gu said, let me think about it. Wan Ling secretly gave Kun some of his power. Fang Yuyu stared at Kun again and again, and whispered softly, the Kun power you lost will definitely come back. After Fang Yuyu finished reciting, a golden seal appeared from between its eyebrows and fell into Kun's body. Fang Zhiqiu came to his gourd vine and said to a flower, Xiao Qi, I will lend you a little purple energy of heaven and earth, and a petal. I will return it to you when I have the opportunity in the future. At the same time, the seawater poured into the small world, and thunderclouds gathered in the sky. The alienated beast, which was still jubilant, instantly sensed the crisis. Unfortunately, there is no place for them to escape. Thunder struck down one after another. The flesh and blood of the alienated beasts that touched the seawater were instantly corroded. Boss, it's bad, something happened. Panlong shouted nervously. The evil dragon was practicing, and he was very unhappy when he was interrupted like this, and asked, what's the matter? Panlong said nervously, there is something wrong with the way of heaven in the small world. If you see evil spirits, you will attack them. There is also something wrong with the sea area where Kun is. The seawater is pouring back. The alienated beasts will die when they touch the seawater. Evil dragon said coldly, why is this happening? Where did Kun go? It used the breath of the order of law to lure Kun here. He also used the sacred bones stripped from Fang Qingwu's body as a threat, forcing Kun to admit defeat. Since acquiring Kun's flesh and blood, its group of alienated beasts has grown countless times, and its dominance over the battlefield of the gods has also been greatly enhanced. The existence of Kun allows it to create a steady stream of alienated beasts. So the small world can have problems, but Kun can't. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 1395 The small world is destroyed. Panlong heard Exilong's question and said hesitantly, Boss, I don't know. All the alienated beasts I sent to find Kun are dead. I don't know if Kun is still at the bottom of the sea. The evil dragon's eyes were cold, trash. With everything like this, Kun must be no longer at the bottom of the sea. It had dealt with Kun many times, and the other party definitely didn't have this ability. In addition, Kun is cursed by the high priest. Kun's strength cannot be restored until the curse is lifted. The evil dragon left the place of seclusion and came to the top of the small world. Looking at the real scene of mountains of corpses and seas of blood below, he was trembling with anger. This little world is completely destroyed. All the alienated beasts it had spent several epochs of effort cultivating were gone. Boom. While the evil dragon was still angry, a bolt of thunder struck at it. The evil dragon quickly dodged away. The dragon-shaped body it just created cannot be destroyed. But before the evil dragon could take a breath, it felt a force pushing it down. At the same time, dozens of thunder struck at it and Panlong at the same time. Panlong panicked and said, Boss, haven't we already controlled the world's way of heaven? Why is this thunder still hitting us? Idiot. Evil dragon cursed, and then said, the consciousness of heaven has been restored. It must be the master of the universe. We can't stay here any longer. Please inform Quilong and the others to leave as soon as possible. The evil dragon said while resisting the thunder tribulation. Boss, our new petri dish has just begun. If we leave, wouldn't all our previous efforts be wasted? Panlong said in shock. Previously, alienated beasts could only be used to deal with some low-level powerhouses. The alienated beasts prepared now are cultivated with Kun's blood and essence. As long as they come out, they will have the strength of the human sun realm. As long as these beasts are cultivated, their plan will definitely succeed. Then you go and take them away. After the evil dragon said it, he didn't care about Panlong at all, opened a space-time rift, and got in. Panlong also followed up very quickly. As for informing Quilong, they were completely forgotten about it. Anyway, Quilong and the others are not cubs. They have legs and strength and can escape on their own. After Fang Qingran came out of the void space, the smell of blood in the sea became twice as strong. There were many bones piled up where the big Kun was before. Fang Qingran raised her wrist, and a bone appeared in her hand. These bones actually contain the aura of witchcraft power. This is not an ordinary orc bone. As expected, the evil dragon met the mermaid tribe. Does the evil god also know about everything the evil dragon did? Or is the evil god also involved? Fang Qingran threw down the bones in his hands. All dirty and sinful things should be destroyed. Fang Qingran dodged a few times and came out of the sea, and the power of his spiritual consciousness spread. Fang Qingran stood in the void and leaned down to look down. There is still a part of the small world that is high in the mountains and is not submerged by the sea. Many alienated beasts stayed on high mountains and survived. There are still many living beasts in the sea. These beasts are very weak and fluttering in the sea water. She placed a curse on the sea. As long as anyone has eaten the flesh and blood of a large coon, their flesh and blood will be corroded cleanly when exposed to sea water. As for those who survived, they had never touched the flesh and blood of Darkoon. There is a no-fly rule in the sea, so those alien beasts hide in the mountains. Fang Qingbran raised his hand and recalled the Juxuan spirit. Phoenix Master, hey, it's been taken care of. I have also transferred some Yang energy to the Heavenly Dao here. From now on, ordinary dark power will not be able to infiltrate the Heavenly Dao in this small world. Juxuan spirit said. Hey. Completing the tasks assigned by the Master can only be praised. If you want the owner to like it, you must take the initiative to deal with the aftermath and not let the owner worry. Ju Xuan, you did a great job. By the way, Ju Xuan, is there still witchcraft power in this small world? Fang Qingbran asked. Juxuan spirit responded, yes, Lord Phoenix, follow me. Fang Qingbran followed the Juxuan spirit to a high mountain. She glanced coldly and saw that the alien beasts, which were full of evil thoughts towards her, did not make any move. Juxuan spirit said to a location halfway up the mountain, Master Phoenix, the power of witchcraft is here. There are formations and seals outside, and I can't open them. Fang Qingbran made a secret with her fingertips, and the formation slowly emerged. Fang Qingbran stepped into the formation with the spirit of Juxuan, and her eyes suddenly turned into another scene. A step descended beneath her feet. Before going down, Fang Qingbran smelled the strong smell of decay. Juxuan's spirit said, Phoenix Master, I feel wrong. Not only is there the power of witchcraft and trickery down there, but there is also an aura of decay. Ah. Fang Qingbran stepped onto the steps gently. At the same time, a luminous pearl appeared in her hand, and everything she saw was bright. Fang Qingbran saw a giant pupae hanging under the steps. These giant pupae still have the smell of coon's bones and blood inside. Fang Qingbran's eyes turned cold and he continued. Master Phoenix, the alienated beast inside this giant chrysalis is of a very high level, like the strength of a saint in the human race. Juxuan spirit said. Yeah, Fang Qingbran seemed to be in a bad mood. Fang Qingbran walked very slowly on the rotating steps. It took him half an hour to reach the bottom. At the bottom is a blood pool. The blood pool and the giant pupa are connected. The blood pool obviously exists to support these giant pupae. Fang Qingbran looked at the runes and spells on the blood pool. Mermaid tribe, Shuanman, very good. Fang Qingbran took the Juxuan spirit and left this place. After she left, everything inside instantly turned into powder. Master Phoenix, do you want to deal with the alienated beasts on these mountains? Juxuan spirit asked. Fang Qingbran shook her head, no need. Fang Qingbran communicated with Tiandao and raised some normal beasts to send out of the world. Then she slipped out of the world. Phoenix Master, are you going to let them go like this? No. After Fang Qingbran said this, she added a layer of boundary to the world, and then she sealed the entire world. The world's heaven appeared in her palms. The spirit of Juxuan looks at the way of heaven that appears. Without the way of heaven, the world can only go to destruction. Does the Phoenix Master want those alienated beasts to destroy themselves? There is no need for such a sinful place to exist. Fang Qingbran said coldly, then opened a rift in time and space and entered the battlefield of the gods. Fang Qingbran said to the heavenly Dao in her palm, I will leave this place to you to protect it from now on. Tiandao sensed it and flew into the sky happily. There is actually ancient power and even the aura of ancient times here. Giving this kind of place the power of heaven will make it advance faster. Fang Qingbran raised her hand and released the 8-headed heron. Shaba, go find the 9-headed baby. It has come back. When the 8 herons heard this, they did not leave immediately. Instead, they reluctantly said, Master Phoenix, are you leaving? Fang Qingbran nodded, yes. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 1396 I'm about to cry. The 8-heron knew that with its strength, it could not always follow Fang Qingbran. But it didn't expect that farewell would come so soon. Phoenix Master, when can I see you again? I don't know either. I don't know about the safety of this trip. Shaba, you don't have to wait for me. Fang Qingbran said, raising her hand to terminate the contract between her and the 8-headed heron. The 8 herons now have a high bloodline level. It should find a good contractor. The 8-headed heron realized that the contract between it and Fang Qingbran was terminated, and it instantly became depressed. However, Bar Heron also understood that Fang Qingbran also wanted to let it go free. Master Phoenix, by the time you come back, I will definitely be the king here. The 8-headed heron pretended to be optimistic. Okay. Fang Qingbran raised his hand and made a mark on the 8 herons. Master Phoenix, I wish you a smooth trip and a speedy return. After saying this, the 8-headed heron flew away without looking back. The 8-headed heron didn't dare to look back. It is afraid that after looking back, it will be reluctant to leave. 8 herons found 9 strange babies in a clearing. At this time, the 9-headed baby was lying there dying. 9-headed baby. The 8-headed heron shouted loudly, transferring half of its power to the 9-headed baby. The eyes on one head of the 9-headed baby were opened, and 8 herons were seen using their claws to pull the eyelids of the other heads. 9-headed weighing. 8 heron, why are you here? Fuck, you didn't even tell me when you woke up. The 8-headed heron was startled and immediately retracted its claws. The 9-headed infant was speechless. 9-headed infant, this is the battlefield of the gods. It was Lord Phoenix who rescued you. Where were you before? Asked the 8-headed heron. Phoenix Master. Ah. The 9-headed baby had a complicated look on his face. 8-headed heron, we are not actually derived from nature. We were originally created intentionally by evil spirits. What? No, I have to tell the Phoenix Master such news. The 8-headed heron said, about to pick up the 9-headed baby. Don't move, Phoenix Master must have known about it since he rescued me. 9-headed infant said. Fang Qingran could rescue it from that place, so he must have known the truth. The 8 herons were stunned, then raised their 8 heads and began to cry. You do once you. You. 9-headed Wei Ying. What does it mean to live a hard life with it? It's okay, I will stay with you, 9-headed Wei Ying said. She is used to living a hard life. The 8-headed heron thought that when it followed Fang Qingran, there would always be treasures to eat, plenty of spiritual energy, and a bunch of beasts to tell it about its cultivation experience. These days will never happen again. The 9-headed baby rolled his eyes, gritted his teeth and said, shut up. Stop crying. The 8-headed heron said, no, I am sad, I want to cry enough, woo. At the same time, Fang Qingran came to the place where the monument was erected. After paying homage, she went to find Yu Che was slightly surprised when he saw Fang Qingran. Fang Qingran opened the Eye of Nothingness, explored Yu Che's sea of consciousness, and wanted to look through his memories. I actually encountered a seal. Fang Qingran felt the aura on the seal and was slightly shocked. When she was about to take back her consciousness, another mark appeared on Yu Che's soul. Her murderous intention towards Yu Che disappeared instantly. Fang Qingran looked at Yu Che coldly. Yu Che, tell the high priest a word, it's best for her to hide away forever. Yu Che paused and said, I don't understand what you are talking about. Yu Che, didn't the high priest tell you the consequences of practicing the power of witchcraft? By the way, you don't seem to know what the power of witchcraft is. Fang Qingran raised her wrist, an array of witchcraft power appeared in her palm. Do you know why this kind of power is called the power of witchcraft? Because it is a power unique to the witch clan's cultivation. For those who practice this kind of power, whenever they use this kind of power once, they will consume their lifespan. Yu Che, I wish you good luck. After Fang Qingran said this, she left the cave under Yu Che's complicated and shocked eyes. Phoenix Master, won't you take back the witchcraft power in his body? Zhu Xuanzi said. There is no need to take it back. Yu Che is a descendant of the Wu clan and cannot escape the confinement of the law. Fang Qingran said. Fang Shichu couldn't help but said curiously, Master Fang, how do you know that Yu Che is a descendant of the Wu clan? Fang Qingran did not hide anything. He is not only a descendant of the Wu clan, he may also be the son of the rebirth curse given birth to by senior Kang Xuanji. Fang Shichu became even more confused and fell into silence. The process of the emergence of the son of the resurrection curse is very cruel. The rebirth spell is also a forbidden spell. For Kang Xuanji to be able to conceive the son of the resurrection curse, it must have been carefully planned by Xuanmen. A soul can only bear the rebirth curse once. If Yu Che is the son of the rebirth curse, then how did the other person live to this day, and is he still only tens of thousands of years old? There is no aura of traveling through time on Yu Che. Yu Che was born to Kang Xuanji during the prehistoric period. But Yu Che grew up in a place abandoned by gods, so how did Yu Che get to where he is now? The more Fang Zhichu thought about it, the more confused he became. Master Fang, how did you infer that Yu Che was the son of the rebirth curse given birth to by Kang Xuanji? Fang Qingran said calmly, Yu Che can only cultivate the power of witchcraft and trickery, and he can only have the blood of the witch clan. I just checked and found that the backlash of the power of witchcraft and trickery on Yu Che is not strong. I took another deep look at Yu Che's soul, and then I discovered that there is a seal on Yu Che's body. This seal is very similar to the aura on senior Kang Xuanji's body. Yu Che's body is indeed only tens of thousands of years old. But his soul and soul are obviously not souls in this world. The souls from the prehistoric era all had special marks. Yan Yu told her this. If you want to identify whether an opponent is a strong person of that period, you can look at the mark on the opponent's soul. During the evolution of the universe, in order to distinguish living beings, there were different marks deep in the souls of each period. But if you want to see this mark, you must have a very different strength between the two sides, and the side with higher strength needs to have the eye of the sky to have a chance to see this mark. Yan Yu came from the chaos period and naturally understood the imprints of the prehistoric period. She just had a sudden idea to check the mark deep in his soul. Unexpectedly, what I saw was the mark of the prehistoric period. From ancient times. He can also practice the power of witchcraft. And he is not afraid of the backlash from the power of witchcraft. Yu Che must be from the witch clan. It is also a witch clan cultivated in a special way. Coupled with the seal in Yu Che's body. She guessed that Yu Che was a chess piece planted by senior Kang Xuanji. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 1397 The Eve of Farewell, additional update. Senior Kang Xuanji has never been a lover, but is a being with unparalleled resourcefulness. Senior Kang Xuanji knew that he could not avoid Xuanmen. Simply use Xuanmen to seek survival for the Kang family. The Kang family has the blood of the witch clan. The Kang family must have given up some things, and then they got rid of the confinement of the witch clan by the law. It can be seen from the path taken by the Kang family that the Wu clan is probably divided into several forces. She felt that the Wu clan was divided into at least 4 factions. They are the Mermaid clan, the Xuanmen clan, the Kang clan, and the Haotu Empress's faction. Among them, the Mermaid tribe should be the weakest, still cultivating the power of witchcraft. The Kang family has the 40 talisman, can cultivate the soul, and is not afraid of the restrictions of the rules of heaven. It must have a high status in the Wu clan. As for Xuanmen, its strength is unknown. However, judging from the fact that the leader of the Xuanmen plotted against the Kang family and wanted to obtain the 40 talisman, the Wu clan in the Xuanmen was slightly inferior to the Kang family. Empress Haotu should be in a league of her own. She opened the path to reincarnation for all living beings and possesses a measurable power of merit. You will definitely be favored by the law. In this way, Empress Haotu should not be afraid of the sorcerer clan's imprisonment. I heard from Dongji that Empress Haotu was not in the Xuanchu plain at the beginning. She came here not long before the ancient war. As for senior Kang Xuanji, Dongji said that he had not seen her since the Kang family was wiped out. He didn't know when senior Kang Xuanji came here. The fact that the Mermaid tribe and Xuanmen came all the way to Xuanchu should have something to do with senior Kang Xuanji and Empress Haotu. Fang Qingran glanced back at the boundary monument of the battlefield of the gods. No matter where Senior Kang Xuanji and Empress Haotu came from, they were worthy of admiration. She even wondered if Senior Kang Xuanji and Empress Haotu came here because they thought there would be a catastrophe here and wanted to protect the people here. There are too many questions without answers. Fang Qingran looked away, and a crack in time and space appeared. Fang Qingran came outside the Buddhist realm. The Buddhas stood in the sky, looking listless. Hey, when do you think our Buddha will come back? That fake Buddha really went too far. He locked us out of the Buddhist world before leaving. What happened? It's outrageous. This is the first time I know that Buddha cannot enter the Buddhist world and let a person from the immortal world occupy our place. There is nothing we can do. We can't defeat that fake Buddha. He is very unpredictable. As the Buddha spoke, he saw Fang Qingran and his voice suddenly stopped. Master Fang. A Buddha saluted Fang Qingran. The eyes of other Buddhas all fell on Fang Qingran. Fang Qingran raised her hand and handed him a jade sip. This contains the location of your Buddha. You can go and pick him up. I will take my senior brother away first. Please tell you, Lord Buddha, that my senior brother has the freedom to choose his future path. Please don't disturb him. The Buddhas looked at each other. Fang Qingran, however, had already entered the Buddhist world. A Buddhist immediately took the suspended jade sip and opened it. Why is Buddha in the 19th hell? A Buddhist exclaimed. Shall we go take a look? Go. I feel that Buddha should be in that place. The Buddha realm doesn't need us to guard it now. Let's go pick up the Buddha first. The Buddhas discussed and left the Buddha realm. Within the Buddhist realm. After noticing Fang Qingran's aura, Liu Kanglan immediately opened his eyes. Little junior sister, who is that fake Buddha? Evil God. Fang Qingran didn't want to hide this matter. God. He looks like that, but he can actually know God. Liu Kanglan felt disillusioned with God. Fang Qingran nodded and replied, yes, he is the last god with a priesthood in this world. Liu Kanglan didn't know what to say for a moment. Liu Kanglan began to look at Fang Qingran, and found that she couldn't see through it at all. Little junior sister, what state are you in now? Fang Qingran said, I will answer this question after I return to Lingyun sect. Liu Kanglan seemed to have guessed something. His expression became complicated. Okay. After Fang Qingran and Liu Kanglan returned to Lingyun sect, they saw everyone waiting for them at the entrance. Little junior sister, are you okay? Ning Xiyu stepped forward and asked with concern. Fifth senior sister, I'm fine. After Fang Qingran answered, her eyes fell on Gu Jianyi and Qin Hanyan. They had been promoted to saints. The fifth senior sister is about to be promoted. It should take some time for the fourth senior brother and the sixth senior brother to reach the middle stage of the realm of origin. Little junior sister, you should be able to tell me now what state you are in, right? Liu Kanglan said. The Lord of Creation. Fang Qingran did not choose to hide it. Bailey, when you jumped up to Fang Qingran, little junior sister, you really shouldn't go too far. I haven't seen you for more than 1,000 years, and you have crossed 2 realms in a row. Didn't I say that after becoming a saint, it is very difficult to improve one's cultivation? Quote. Mu Chanjue said, what do you know? Junior sister has her own goals. She can't do it unless she works hard. Little junior sister, are you leaving? Qin Hanyan asked coldly. Yes. Everyone fell into silence after hearing Fang Qingran's answer. In the past, I always thought about becoming stronger through cultivation and traveling around the universe at will. But now that it's time to say goodbye, I actually want to go back in time. In fact, everyone is usually in a state of cultivation. There isn't much time for real communication. But they always know that there is such a person beside them. They knew that Fang Qingran meant leaving, not simply leaving. After this farewell, they didn't know when they would see each other again. Junior sister, what kind of strength do you need to walk in the universe? Qin Hanyan asked extremely seriously. Liu Kanglan and the others looked at Qin Hanyan in shock. Gu Jianyi looked at Fang Qingran. He was also curious. His aunt said that his father and mother would probably leave this plane, and he wanted to find them in the future. Fang Qingran did not answer Qin Hanyan's question first. Third senior sister, let's discuss it first. I will tell you after it's over. It is good. I also want to compete with my junior sister. Bailey, when you whispered. Sixth brother, don't worry. Fang Qingran agreed. Bailey, when you immediately took a step back, can we not compete? I'm actually just talking. Fang Qingran and Qin Hanyan had already flown over Lingyun sect. Third senior sister, take action. Qin Hanyan took out a sword and said, little junior sister, there is no need to show mercy. I want to know the real gap between you and me. It is good. Senior brother, you came back with your junior sister. Have you ever fought with her? Mu Chanjue approached Liu Kanglan and asked with a smile. No, but one thing I can be sure of is that together we are no match for junior sister. Liu Kanglan said with determination. Mu Chanjue asked strangely, isn't this a matter of course? After the Saint realm, the difference between one level is huge, not to mention that the junior sister is not one level higher than us. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 1398, Discovering Identity, Golden Ticket 1. Gu Jianyi took a deep look at Liu Kanglan. I'm afraid that senior brother's words may have another meaning. Ning Xiyu and Bailey, when you paid more attention to Qin Hanyan and Fang Qingran. Fang Qingran did not take out a weapon. Compared with Qin Hanyan's pressure spreading around his body, Fang Qingran's body didn't have any aura or pressure leaking out. Fang Qingran stood quietly in the air, as if there was no threat at all. Those who didn't understand Fang Qingran's strength would probably think that she would definitely lose. Qin Hanyan used his own power to take the lead in attacking Fang Qingran. It wasn't until Qin Hanyan's sword was about to touch Fang Qingran that Fang Qingran made any move. She raised her fingertips, and her body instantly exuded an ancient aura. Qin Hanyan's sword stopped where she pointed, and could no longer move forward. Qin Hanyan turned around, put away the sword in his hand, made a seal with his fingertips, gathered all the strength in his body, and spread out a powerful attack. The surrounding space seemed to freeze. The biting cold breath came to my face. At the same time, invisible forces are trying to imprison Fang Qingran. Fang Qingran felt the power of these powers, her eyes flashed slightly. Third senior sister's understanding of the Tao was stronger than she imagined. It's just that this one lacks a trace of Tao's charm. Fang Qingran just flicked her sleeves and broke Qin Hanyan's attack. I lost, Qin Hanyan said. Third senior sister, why did you choose this path? Fang Qingran asked slightly curiously. Since the evolution of heaven and earth is closely related to Tao, then Tao must be a ruthless, fair and selfless existence. Qin Hanyan said. Fang Qingran smiled and said, Tao is ruthless, but it is the most affectionate. It gives thousands of living things the chance to survive, so how can it be a ruthless existence? Qin Hanyan seemed to have thought of something. Thank you, junior sister. Sixth brother, come up. Ellipsis. Fang Qingran had a duel with everyone from Lingyun sect. Only then did the exchanges begin. Time flies, and 100 years have passed. Fang Qingran went to see Xingchen and asked him to hand over a jade pendant to Yi Wenshan, and then left the fairy world. As for the god realm, Fang Qingran did not go there. Xuanyuan Linglong has become a divine king by virtue of her strength. Under her leadership, the world of gods will surely get better. Fang Xi also finished sending the spirit of consciousness and returned to the void space. Before Fang Qingran went to the underworld, he went to the underworld to meet Yanmiyu, Dongji and Dawu. Dongji said with a complicated mood, Xiao Qingran, you will choose. In the past, I went out to wander around and left the house to them. But this time, I was the one who stayed. Xiao Qingran, don't worry. Only when she arrived outside the territory did Fang Qingran truly realize what reluctance was. Xiaofeng, it's okay, they will be fine. When you are stronger, come back to see them. Hong Mengshu comforted her. Fang Qingran's trip to the universe will not be too short. When he reached Fang Qingran's level of cultivation, it was time to look for opportunities in the universe to improve his strength. There is no harm in staying in the plane. But she still has powerful enemies waiting for her ahead. Fang Qingran still has a long way to go, and she can't stop. Hongmeng, I was just thinking. I used to pursue becoming stronger, thinking that being strong would have everything, but now I realize that every mountain is higher than the next, Fang Qingran said. Then let's climb the highest one. If there is no highest one, then build one small enough to see all the mountains. Hong Mengshu said excitedly. Fang Qingran raised her lips slightly and smiled. Hongmeng, are there many powerful masters of the universe besides Xuanchu? Yes. Hongmeng, what is the reason why the strong men in the Xuanchu plane are not as strong as the strong men in the universe? Fang Qingran asked curiously. Compared with the immortal realm and chaos realm that she had heard about, the strength of the strong men in Xuanchu was indeed insufficient. But why? Xuanchu is obviously the plane that has existed the longest. Hong Mengshu's tone was slightly solemn. It's not that the strong ones in Xuanchu were not strong, it's just that the truly strong ones died in catastrophes one after another. The universe is always evolving, and when various laws change, there will be battles. There are those from darkness who initiate the fight, and there are those who are fighting for survival. And the Xuanchu, who has been around for the longest time, will definitely be targeted by many powerful people. There has been a saying since ancient times, don't be afraid of thieves stealing, just be afraid of thieves thinking about you. With so many pairs of eyes staring at the Xuanchu plane, you must be the one who bears the brunt of the disaster. After each battle, countless strong men were lost. As for those strong men who are eyeing the Xuanchu plane, they are so numerous that they don't care about this loss at all. This is why the ancient body tree hides the plane. If we didn't do this, Xuanchu would have been riddled with holes. Xiaofeng, when you are walking outside the universe, you must not reveal that you are from Xuanchu. You can say one word, Xuan. Hong Mengshu warned. Okay, Fang Qingran was already standing outside the territory as he spoke. There are many giant Buddhas here, and they guard the plane formation. Tianyu, isn't the Sharon? Is she going out? Nangshuan ancestor said. Tianyu pursed her lips, and the good mood of throwing the evil god out of the plane just now disappeared. The ancestor of Nangshuan glanced at Tianyu, then ducked in front of Fang Qingran. Sharon, are you going out? Well, senior Nangshuan, there is one more thing I want to get rid of you before I leave. Fang Qingran said. What's the matter? Nangshuan's ancestor quietly looked at Tianyu again. I would like to ask Nanshuan to leave this to him and tell him that I will not blame him. I know that my mother and him are doing it for my own good. Fang Qingran handed Nanshuan a life ring. Nanshuan raised his hand and took it. Sharon, you know everything. Fang Qingran nodded. I've always known it, senior Nanshuan, please excuse me. It's a small thing. By the way, this is a personal belonging prepared for you. Keep it well. Nangshuan ancestor handed Fang Qingran a storage ring and said. Of course, most of the things here were prepared by that guy Tianyu. Then I threw it to him, saying he didn't want it anymore and let him deal with it as he pleased. Snort. It's so cryptic. Don't you just want to lend his hand to Fang Qingran? In this case, it is not involved. After all, treasures are thrown away. Thank you, senior Nanshuan. After Fang Qingran accepted it, he saluted Nanshuan and then saluted in a certain direction. Sharon, we are waiting for you to come back. Nangshuan ancestor said meaningfully. It is good. After Fang Qingran finished speaking, he left the plane. The ancestor of Nangshuan threw the things to Tianyu. Here, I don't want it anymore, you can deal with it for me. Tianyu caught the ring as if it were a treasure. When he saw clearly what was inside, his expression darkened again. What's going on? Nangshuan ancestor asked. It's okay. Tianyu created a field, and after he and Nanshuan were alone, he released the big Kun. Da Kun has basically recovered from his injuries, but he is still sleeping. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 1399 Chief Deputy Pavilion Master. The ancestor of Nangshuan was startled when he saw the sudden appearance of Kun. Tianyu, why did she send Da Kun to you? Nanshuan asked puzzled. Tianyu did not answer Nanshuan's question and opened a jade sip. It clearly describes Da Kun's situation and encounters, as well as what the evil dragons and others did. Fang Qingran originally wanted to take Da Kun away to find the Kun clan in the universe. But Kun didn't want to leave, it wanted to wait for Fang Qingwu. Fang Qingran thought about it and decided to give it to Tianyu. Nan Xuan came over and looked at the inner cylinder on the jade slip together. Then he said angrily, "The evil dragon is so abominable. How many lives have been harmed by this?" After Nan Xuan finished speaking, he sighed again. The reason why the evil dragon has reached this point is actually partly due to the greed of the monks themselves. In order to deal with Fang Qingwu, God actually chose to feed the evil spirits. Otherwise, the evil dragons would never be able to make a difference. Tianyu, are we going to get the evil god back? He must be better at dealing with evil spirits than us, Nan Xuan asked. The corners of Tianyu's lips were slightly raised, and she smiled like a spring breeze. "No, the clone has been sent out, so just let the main body come out. It just so happens that it's not convenient for me to take action." Tianyu took another look at the last map on the jade slip, which marked the possible habitat of the evil dragon. The evil dragon was just a pawn from beginning to end. No matter how hard it tries, it cannot escape the constraints of the rules. However, the mermaid clan and Chuanan mentioned here are difficult to deal with. The mermaid tribe is good at hiding their traces, and as an outsider, there is no way to sense their location through the avenue. It is unknown how many practitioners are behind Xuanmen, what their purpose is, and where their real leader is. Most things that happen in the plane have the shadow of Xuanmen. But because of this, it is very difficult to trace. Tianyu gave Da Kun some of his vitality and took it back into the life ring. A Wu's contracted beast is loyal. If Ah Wu knew, he would definitely be very happy. We don't know the details of the evil god, how can we lure him out? The ancestor of Nangxuan asked curiously. What's his purpose here? After Tianyu said this, before Nangxuan ancestor could reply, a space-time crack appeared in the area where he raised his hand. Later, Yujing appeared in the field with a confused look on his face. Yujing looked at Nangxuan ancestor and Tianyu and fell into silence. The ancestor of Nangxuan stared at Yujing and looked at him. "Why do I feel that you look familiar?" Yujing hurriedly denied. Not familiar at all, I have never met you." Yujing's anxious look fell in Nanshuan's eyes, indicating a guilty conscience. Nanshuan wanted to say something else, and Tian Yue took out a token. After Yujing clearly saw the token in Tianyu's hand, his expression changed slightly, and he immediately saluted Tianyu and said, "Yujing, the deputy master of Wugui Pavilion, has met the chief deputy master." When Wugui Pavilion was first established, there was a chief deputy pavilion master between the pavilion master and deputy master. It's just that when he entered Wugui Pavilion, he had never seen the deputy master. He didn't expect to meet in this way. The ancestor of Nangxuan touched his chin. "Wugui Pavilion. Tianyu, what are you, the deputy master of Wugui Pavilion?" Suddenly, his eyes narrowed slightly and fell on Yujing. "I remember who you are. Have you ever been to the land abandoned by the gods?" "What is the place abandoned by the gods?" Yujing asked, pretending not to know. "I'm glad from the bottom of my heart that I was disguised at that time." The ancestor of Nangxuan grabbed Yujing's wrist and said, "It must be you, kid, who destroyed my stall, called me a liar, and finally extorted thousands of high-grade spiritual stones from me." Yujing met Nanshuan's eyes without blinking and said in an extremely sincere tone, "Senior, what are you talking about?" "HMPH, just keep pretending. Do you think you can deceive me by erasing the breath I left behind?" After Nanshuan finished speaking, he let go of Yujing. Tianyu should still call Yujing. After Tianyu finished calling, he would go to Yujing to settle accounts. Yujing didn't care about Nanshuan's assessment. Anyway, as long as he didn't admit it, the other party would have no evidence. Tianyu said at this time, "Yujing, call the monks from Wugui Pavilion to spread this news in a small area." As Tianyu's words fell, Yujing felt that there were some strange memories in his consciousness. After Yujing read the memory sent by Tianyu, he said respectfully, "Yes, Deputy Pavilion Master, when will you return to Wugui Pavilion?" He really doesn't want to temporarily act as the Pavilion Master. If the Deputy Chief goes back, maybe he can be freed. "I will not return to Wugui Pavilion," Tianyu said bluntly. At the same time, Fang Qingran stood in the dark void, turned around and saw a dazzling boundary monument. Two ancient dragons are carved on the boundary monument. The ancient dragon turned out to be exactly the same as the black and white dragon on the sky-opening axe. Fang Qingran's eyes were filled with surprise, and she stared at the two dragons for a long time, unable to regain her composure. At this time, a long and distant sigh fell into Fang Qingran's ears. Immediately afterwards, a purple gold seal appeared in the boundary monument and fell in front of her. The next moment, the seal entered her body. Fang Qingran realized that she had a special connection with the boundary monument. This connection is unclear. "Master Fang, what are you looking at?" Fang Zhichu's crisp voice sounded in Fang Qingran's sea of consciousness. It saw that Fang Qingran had been in a daze and was worried that there was a danger that it was not aware of, so it couldn't help but make a sound. Fang Qingran's eyes moved slightly. "Chu, can't you detect what's ahead?" Fang Zhichu was very confused and said, "Master Fang, there is nothing in front of you but endless void." "Hongmeng, have you seen the boundary monument of Xuanchu?" Fang Qingran asked through a message transmission to the Hongmeng tree. "I haven't seen it before." "Why, have you seen the plain boundary monument?" Hongmeng Shu asked curiously. "The idea is to explore what's going on outside the space." But it didn't find any boundary monument in the void. Plain boundary monuments are usually hidden and will not be easily revealed. Only when the plain barrier is under devastating attack, the boundary monument may appear and destroy the enemy. In the worlds that have survived in the universe, their world trees have learned to hide the world's location very well. After all, there are countless dangers in the universe. If you are targeted by a greedy person, it will be difficult to escape. It is better to hide it from the beginning and prevent greedy people from discovering it. "Master Fang, they have no way of discovering the boundary monument. It's not that they are blind. This is Xuan's self-protection." Fang Xi's lazy voice sounded. Fang Qingran was still deep in thought, but when she heard Fang Xi's words, she couldn't help but twitch the corner of her mouth. Fang Xi's words were as sharp as ever. Fang Xi, can you also see the boundary monument glowing? Fang Qingran asked. Glowing. Fang Xi was slightly surprised, and then said, I can only sense where it is. As for the glow, it doesn't shine at all. That guy Xuan has very little strength left. The boundary monument is now completely controlled by Xuan Kan, so does it still have the power to make the boundary monument shine? Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 1400, Too Ugly to Hide. Fang Xi didn't understand what was going on, so he held back his breath and left the void space. It stared in the direction of the boundary marker again and again to make sure there was no light. Master Fang, what kind of boundary monument did you see? Fang Xi asked curiously. Shine like stars, and the two ancient dragons above seemed to come to life. Fang Qingran described. She didn't quite understand, why could she alone see the boundary monument glowing? After hearing Fang Qingran's description, Fang Xi was about to speak when he suddenly felt a chill coming over him. Fang Xi immediately expanded his territory. Master Fang, there are enemies. I know. Qingluan's sword appeared in Fang Qingran's hand. Fang Qingran, what did you get when you entered the demon-devouring abyss? A voice like a poisonous snake sounded. But the other party did not show up. You hide your head and hide your tail. You don't even dare to show your face. You are not worthy of our Lord Phoenix to answer your questions. Fang Xi said arrogantly. After Fang Xi finished speaking, Fang Qingran noticed a breath fluctuation in one direction. Fang Qingran gently waved the sword energy to break the opponent's attack. Zhenshin, you are not your ancestor, so don't be arrogant. The cold voice was full of warning. Fang Xi snorted coldly. My ancestors were at least upright, but you are like a toad in the mud, so ugly that you can't hide it. By the way, don't you understand why it's so ugly that it can't be concealed? I'll kindly explain it to you. Even if your body is covered with mud, your ugliness cannot be covered up. Do you understand now? Fang Xi's voice was loud and resounded throughout the void. It is certain that the enemies hiding in the dark dare not touch it. This is still in the primordial universe. It is a coming god. If the other party dares to touch it here, it will fall into a life and death crisis. The will of the universe will surely intervene to save it. This is the capital it dares to be arrogant with. These are the blessings obtained by the ancestors of Zhenshin in protecting Taichu. Just because the other party doesn't dare to kill it doesn't mean that he doesn't dare to touch the Phoenix Master. Therefore, it wants the other party to come to the surface so that Phoenix Master can deal with him better. Fang Qingran secretly gave Fang Xi a thumbs up. The real thing is poison. Fang Xi and Fang Qingran were silent for a moment. The aura fluctuations appeared several times and then disappeared. The other party did not appear after all. Fang Xi's eyes were full of energy. He calmed down. Okay, let's continue. Why don't you speak? Have you not organized your language well? Do you want me to teach you a few words, and you say tsk, it's really miserable. Isn't it terrible to be ugly? What is terrible is that you are still uneducated. After Fang Xi finished speaking, he deliberately laughed out loud. Zhenshin, I can't kill you, why can't I kill her? A cold voice sounded. Immediately afterwards, the void around Fang Qingran fluctuated, and several terrifying forces came towards her. Fang Qingran quickly sent Fang Xi back to the void space. Feeling the terrifying power, it turned out to be the peak strength of the Lord of the Universe. No wonder he did not dare to appear in the plane. Fang Qingran waved Qingluan's sword in his hand. A phantom of Qingluan appeared. Swallowed all the terrifying power. The old man in the void looked horrified. A simple Qingluan weapon spread could never achieve that kind of power. After the shock, the old man was ecstatic. God-killing gun. Sword. And the other treasures on Fang Qingran's body are all his. It's really a wise move to follow him out. The old man said coldly, Fang Qingran, let me tell you, you will end up being arrogant. This is not a plane. You don't have any power from the Great Avenue to rely on. Fang Qingran looked at somewhere in the void, then tell me. The pinnacle of the Lord of the Universe. Normally she couldn't beat him. But now that she has left the plane, she no longer has to take care of the common people. The 10,000 ghost banners and the god-killing spears stand on the left and right. The candlelight also came out. Fang Jingyu sat on the beautiful swing chair, looking into the void with bright eyes. Little Moon, you are not allowed to snatch this soul from me. Zhu Zhao said. I won't compete with you, we each rely on our abilities. Fang Jingyu said. The old man slowly appeared in the void. He sat cross-legged and glanced at Fang Qingran with his turbid eyes, then at the god-killing spear, 10,000 ghost banners and so on. Ah. A little creator. So what if there are so many innate treasures? The more powerful the weapon, the more power it requires. The old man stared at Fang Qingran indifferently, and all his strength gathered silently. The battle in the void is not as grand as the one in the plain. Every battle here is deadly. Fighting in the void, if there are no reliable task companions around, getting injured will lead to death. And being in the void, after the whole body's strength is exhausted, it can only be replenished with elixirs. The old man noticed that Fang Qingran didn't panic at all when he faced him, and he couldn't help but sneer in his heart. He had been sleeping in the plain for a long time. Until he was awakened by the vision of the ancestor of the fairy world. After knowing that the vision came from Fang Qingran, he has been following her in the rift in space. He accidentally followed the Chaos Law Enforcer into the Xuanchu plane. But after entering the plane, his strength was suppressed by Dao Dao. He is already at the pinnacle of cultivation as the Lord of the Universe. In the past world, Dao and him were in check and balance. This was the first time he encountered an avenue that could suppress him. Because of the great Dao's suppression, he could only stay in the cracks in space and quietly observe various worlds. Occasionally, I will receive some news from Xuanmen. Gradually, he discovered that the Xuanchu plane was very different from the plane world he had experienced before. The aura of Tao that remained in Xuanchu became even stronger. But what made him even more surprised was that there were not many strong people in a place with such a strong Tao aura. Not even decay and evil spirits can be dealt with. He asked Xuanmen to arrange for corruption and evil spirits to invade all realms, hoping to draw out the strong men lurking in the dark. But even if corruption and evil spirits spread, no strong man came out to relieve the crisis. It wasn't until Feng Qinggran caused strange phenomena from heaven and earth that the situation began to change. He observed Feng Qinggran in the cracks in space, and occasionally lost track of him. Every time Feng Qinggran disappeared and reappeared, her strength would increase greatly. He went from the fairy world to heaven with Feng Qinggran, and had seen her strange cultivation speed. Later, I saw Feng Qinggran being besieged by the powerful forces of heaven. He originally thought that Feng Qinggran would suffer some hardships. But Feng Qinggran was directly promoted to Saint, changed the rules of the avenue, and was recognized by the spirit of plane consciousness. No spiritual practitioner has ever had such a harmonious relationship with the spirit of consciousness. He originally wanted to catch Feng Qinggran while the spirit of consciousness left him. As a result, Feng Qinggran sent a strange little girl to follow the spirit of consciousness, so he gave up catching the spirit of consciousness. He found Nangong Chen, who was hiding in the cracks in space, gave him strength, and asked him to go out and deal with Feng Qinggran. But Nangong Chen is a waste. Later, he watched Feng Qinggran enter the thunder tribulation of the power of law, and when he came out again, he had the cultivation level of the Lord of Creation. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 1401, 5 Command Flags of Heaven and Earth, additional update. He has traveled to so many universes and met countless ascetics. In just over 1,000 years, Feng Qinggran was the first to go from the Saint realm to the Creator realm. Even the great powers of the prehistoric era could not do it when they had abundant spiritual power. What's more, Feng Qinggran has 5 color spiritual roots, and the difficulty of cultivation is 5 times that of ordinary cultivators. If such a monster continues to grow, he will reach heights that are beyond his reach. It will also pose a threat to him. In the universe, the cultivation resources of top powers are limited. If Feng Qinggran becomes a supreme level expert, it means that he will have less resources in the future. Moreover, the conflict between Feng Qinggran and Xuanzhe has become like fire and water. As a mysterious person of the universe, he will face Feng Qinggran sooner or later. So it is better to destroy Feng Qinggran before he has grown up. In this way, he may also receive resources rewarded by Xuanmen. Feng Qinggran's guess was correct. Xuanmen in the Xuanchu plane is just a small branch. It's not even a branch. The Xuanmen here has long lost contact with the main gate. Because old man Chang'an violated the rules of Xuanmen and helped the ascetics in the plane without permission, he also felt compassion for those who wanted to deprive his luck of fortune. In fact, Xuanmen's luck plundering of Emperor Zhenwu and Emperor Yuanxi should have been completed long ago. But because of old man Chang'an's interference, Xuanmen did not get the most important part of Emperor Zhenwu's luck. Old man Chang'an also secretly released the Yuanshan of Emperor Yuanxi. At that time, the main sect originally wanted to kill old man Chang'an directly, but later, considering that Emperor Zhenwu was still a bit unlucky, he simply let him go. Arrange for old man Chang'an to follow Emperor Zhenwu. He is responsible for keeping an eye on old man Chang'an and Emperor Zhenwu. But he lost track of them halfway. He had no choice but to wander around the universes looking for them. In order to prevent Xuanmen from discovering his mistake, he falsely reported the situation of old man Chang'an and Emperor Zhenwu. The main gate is very far away from this universe, so it is naturally impossible to explore the situation here. It wasn't until the Chaos Law Enforcer appeared that he was shocked to realize that it wasn't that he had lost old man Chang'an's whereabouts, but that there was a plane hidden here. Old man Chang'an hid in Xuanchu. After he entered, he also discovered that old man Chang'an actually wanted to help Feng Qingwu, the master of the plane, to protect the plane. If he hadn't stopped him in time, old man Chang'an might have helped the Lord of the Plains escape from death. At that time, Emperor Zhenwu fought against the Chaos Law Enforcer. His body fell and his soul was seriously damaged. In order to protect Emperor Zhenwu, old man Chang'an finally compromised and allowed the master of the plane to be infected by the soul-eating goo. But he no longer dared to trust old man Chang'an. He quietly contacted some families and became his pawns. He can personally plan everything. Fortunately, driven by interests, the monks completely followed his arrangements. There were some accidents along the way. However, in the end it was going very smoothly, he just had to wait for the soul-eating goo to completely control Feng Qingwu. He can explain it to the main gate. But just when everything was going smoothly, Feng Qingwu unexpectedly fell into the God realm, and he also lost trace of Feng Qingwu. Even with the soul-eating goo, no trace of Feng Qingwu could be found. The soul-eating goo in Feng Qingwu's body was cultivated by the main gate. It is a king goo, and it is impossible to die with Feng Qingwu. But he tried many methods, but couldn't find the soul-eating goo. He could only choose to wait and see. After a long time, Xuanmen discovered that the soul-eating goo was in Feng Qinggran's body. Although Feng Qinggran has great luck, he is not the master of the plane. After he handed everything over to the secret master of Xuanmen, he stopped taking care of it. Until the vision of heaven and earth appeared, he discovered Feng Qinggran and remembered that she was Feng Qingwu's daughter. He was rather curious about how Feng Qinggran grew up to this point. But as he watched, he noticed something was wrong. Feng Qinggran's qualifications were more demonic than any monk he had ever seen. When he wanted to order Xuanmen to kill Feng Qinggran, he was rejected by old man Chang'an. He also ordered the Enwei to take action, but as a result, the strong men sent to deal with Feng Qinggran became more useless than the good-for-nothing master. Old man Chang'an did not die to protect God. Old man Chang'an fell halfway because he betrayed Xuanmen and was attacked by the loyalty goo. In fact, the death of old man Chang'an, if arranged, can also make Emperor Zhenwu feel guilty and make him put aside his grudges with Xuanmen. Unexpectedly, old man Chang'an sacrificed himself before his death, completely severing the connection between Xuanmen and Emperor Zhenwu. From then on, Xuanmen could no longer absorb luck from Emperor Zhenwu. But for some reason, Emperor Zhenwu figured out Xuanmen's plan, and gradually took back the luck that had flowed to Xuanmen. Fang Qingren's shadow is all over these things. So when Fang Qingran was tracing the real Shuaiman, he had murderous intentions towards Fang Qingran. But he had a lot of fears at the time and didn't take action. Watching Fang Qingran go from the realm of the emperor to the creator of the world. Fortunately, Fang Qingran committed suicide and left the plane. It's still too late for him to kill Fang Qingran. As long as he got rid of Fang Qingran, he would have a way to return to the main gate to deliver business. When the old man thought about this, 5 floating flags appeared around him. Each flag has a color. The flag moves automatically without wind, and there seems to be ancient writing flowing on it, which is virtual and real. He knew that Fang Qingran had 5 color spiritual roots and could fight across levels. Fang Qingran is now in the early stages of cultivation as the Lord of Creation. He is the pinnacle of the Lord of the Universe. He is 2 levels higher than Fang Qingran. Even if Fang Qingran has an innate treasure in his hand and can fight across levels, it is absolutely impossible to cross 2 realms. However, for the sake of safety, he decided to use the innate treasure. It is absolutely impossible to underestimate the enemy. Phoenix Master, that is the 5 elements command flag of heaven and earth. It will absolutely suppress the 5 elements spiritual roots. You have to be careful, Wang Guibana said. It's really difficult. In the first line of the Phoenix Lord's journey, she encountered an innate treasure that restrained her. In the realm formed by the 5 elements order flags of heaven and earth, yin and yang are reversed, the 5 elements are chaotic, all laws are directed towards the Lord, and all evils cannot invade. In other words, the opponent can attack the Phoenix Master at will within the domain. Phoenix Master has no way to harm the other party. Although the Phoenix Master and the old man now have separate realms, the Phoenix Master cannot leave her realm. As soon as she goes out, she must be within the scope of the 5 elements flag. At that time, Fang Qingran didn't have much chance of winning. Of course, the 5 elements order flag suppressed not only the Phoenix Master, but also them. They cannot deliver their full power. The 5 elements flag of heaven and earth, is it also an innate treasure with the same origin as you? Fang Qingran asked curiously. Well, they're transformed from the 5 lost lotus seeds of the creation green lotus. The lotus seeds are condensed by absorbing the energy of Hongmeng. It is almost impossible to destroy the 5 elements flag. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 1402 Continuous Output, Golden Ticket 2. The green lotus of creation turned into an innate treasure, and there is a restrained relationship between them. The only exception is the 5 elements flag of heaven and earth. It gathers the power of the 5 elements and has a mutually reinforcing relationship. There is no other treasure to restrain it. The existence of the contractor of the 5 elements flag has just broken this layer of mutual restraint, so the field of the 5 elements flag is very strong at this moment. Mangui Hata introduced in detail. Fang Qingren's eyes lit up when he heard the message from Wang Guibana. It was a good treasure. It would be even better if he could get it. CO1, does the 5 elements flag of heaven and earth have any weaknesses? Fang Qingran asked curiously. Weakness, Wang Guiban thought for a long time before saying, unless the user's power is exhausted, or the user loses control of the 5 elements flag. Fang Qingran nodded and observed the 5 elements flag. The one closest to the old man is the golden flag. At the same time, the old man's whole body was coated with a faint golden light. To the east of the old man, the flag is green, and the runes on it form a blooming green lotus, giving it a mysterious and unpredictable feeling. To the south of the old man, the flag was covered in flames, and runes were faintly beating, as if it was about to burn everything. There are also runes on the 2 flags northwest of the old man, exuding a strong aura. The 5 elements. Metal, wood, water, fire and earth. The first tree is the Hongmeng tree. There was no way she would expose the Hongmeng tree just to deal with an innate treasure. Hongmeng, can Quan Chong's staff be considered a tree? If you want, I can make it a tree. Hongmeng Shu said. You can't expose your aura. Fang Qingran said. Then it doesn't work. It just looks like a branch. It can't be considered a tree, nor can it represent wood. The Hongmeng tree guessed Fang Qingran's thoughts and made it clear for once. Hongmeng Shu paused for a moment and then said, Xiao Fang, if you want to deal with the 5 elements flag, it's probably not easy to deal with. The most important flag is the one in the middle. It's useless if you just destroy the surrounding ones. If you destroy one, the central flag will immediately use the power of the 5 elements to control the flag and regenerate it. Actually, Xiaofeng, you can just tear the void apart and leave without facing him. With the chaos spell present, even if the 5 elements order flags surrounded Xiaofeng's territory, it would not delay Xiaofeng's escape. Of course, this is based on the fact that the old man in front of him is the master of the universe. If the old man were to a higher realm, it wouldn't be possible. Hongmeng, I want the 5 elements order flag, Fang Qingran said with greedy eyes. Hongmeng tree. I spent a long time worrying about it. If you want it, then look at who can be exempted from the constraints and influence of the 5 elements law, let it go in and interfere with that bad old man, maybe there is some hope. Hongmeng Shu said helplessly. That's it. Xiaofeng prepared so many life-saving things. You can't do without one thing. The so-called wealth and wealth are found in danger. Not affected by the law of the 5 elements, Fang Qingran murmured in a low voice. The first one thought of Juxuan spirit. Hongmeng Shu immediately understood what Fang Qingran was thinking. Yin and Yang also belong to the 5 elements. The Juxuan spirit breaks out of the rules and cannot establish a causal connection. It does not mean that it is divorced from the 5 elements. The 5 elements are the root of everything. The predecessor of Juxuan spirit is the Qi of 9 Yin and 9 Yang. The Qi of 9 Yin and 9 Yang just cannot establish cause and effect with living beings, but it does not mean that it is separated from the 5 elements. We must really talk about things that are beyond the constraints of the 5 elements. Xiaofeng did have it in her hand, but she seemed to have ignored it. Or maybe she thought about it. But he doesn't want the other party to take risks. Hongmeng, are you talking about the power of nothingness and Hongmeng's demonic energy? Fang Qingran asked. Hong Mengshu did not expect that Fang Qingran would think of this power first. Although the power of nothingness does not break away from the laws of the five elements, it itself is above the five elements and does not need to abide by the laws of the five elements. But if you use the power of nothingness once, you should know what the consequences will be. As for Hongmeng demonic chi, don't even think about it. It's not suitable for you at the moment. If you use it, this universe will be destroyed. Some power seems to be already in Fang Qingran's body. In fact, it doesn't entirely belong to Fang Qingran. The power of nothingness produces spiritual consciousness, which can stay quietly in Fang Qingran's sea of consciousness. Otherwise, Fang Qingran, who has absorbed the power of nothingness, will end up being burdened by the power just like those surrounding demons. Xiao Fang, didn't you think that above the five elements, there is also the power of chaos, and the little mushroom can produce the power of chaos? Hongmeng Tree said. It's just that the little mushrooms don't have attack power. When it grows mushrooms, someone still needs to protect it. The reason why the power of chaos can transcend the 9 yin and 9 yang qi and override the five elements is because there are various powers in the power of chaos. Together, these forces have already transcended the scope of the five elements and destroyed the law of mutual generation and restraint of the five elements. Naturally, the power of chaos is not bound by the laws of the five elements. But when Fang Qingran heard Hong Mengshu's words, she fell silent. It was too risky to send Xiao Mushroom away. It feels like a meat bun beating a dog, and there is no return. In this situation, Fang Juyu and Loyalty Gu would definitely not be able to follow through. Then who should follow the little mushroom? Fang Qingran was still hesitating, but Hong Mengshu had already told Xiao Mushroom what was happening outside. When Xiao Mushroom heard this, he immediately said happily, I want to go, I can do it, I have a way to protect myself. Phoenix Master, Little Mushroom is asking for a fight. Don't worry, I won't be in danger. Little Mushroom vowed. Little Mushroom. Fang Juyu was slightly worried. Loyalty Gu rarely made a sound, and had no intention of stopping the Little Mushroom. Master Phoenix, I'm here to fight with the Little Mushroom. If something unexpected happens, I'll save it. The old guy doesn't dare to touch me. Fang Si said. When Fang Qingran heard Fang Si talking about coordinated operations, she thought Fang Si was preparing to enter the scope of the five elements order flag. As a result, Fang Si looked at the old man, let out a series of laughter, and then said, Old man, you finally dared to show your true face to others. You are just as I guessed, you are ugly and eye-catching. Old guy, it's not your fault that you're ugly. It's your fault that you come out and cause harm to living beings. After seeing you, I can't even practice meditation. Old guy, TSK, why didn't you react to what I said? Oh, I forgot, you were slow to react. Old man, before I met you, I believed that the higher your cultivation level, the better looking you will be. But after meeting you, I am no longer willing to believe it. Ellipsis. Fang Si continues to output. Fang Qingran looked helpless. Fortunately, the old man opposite him didn't strip away his emotions, otherwise what Fang Si said would be in vain. Fang Jingyu blinked her big eyes and looked at Fang Si with great energy, nodding from time to time as if she was studying. Ju Zhao felt a sense of disillusionment. How did the legendary, unparalleled and radiant god of principle become a reviled beast? Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 1403 Finding Wealth in Danger. Wan Ling ran out of the space and shouted excitedly, Brother Fang Si, come on, you said it very well. Fang Yu also rolled out, staring with a pair of ignorant eyes, holding a fresh bamboo, looked at Fang Si, and then at the old man in the five elements flag area. When they fight as a clan of iron-eating beasts, they stick to silence until the end. Its ancestors could take action but never made a sound. In its inheritance, the ancestors and Genshin have a good relationship, and the two parties have cooperated many times. But it has not seen the specific scene. Is this the scene when the ancestors and Genshin cooperate to fight? There was also an aura of surprise coming from the god-killing spear, 10,000 ghost flags, and Qingguan's sword beside Fang Qingran. The god-killing spear has fought against the god-suppressing beast before, but the god-suppressing beast it has seen is a noble beast with a majesty that cannot be violated. The god-killing spear couldn't help but wonder, is the god-suppressing man in front of him really? Wang Guiban was even more shocked. It had no experience fighting against the god of Zhen, but it had swallowed countless remnant souls, which contained more or less memories of the god of Zhen. In those memories, the god-suppressing beast is a high-status and very mysterious existence, and it is full of momentum every time it appears. The one in front of me is quite majestic. King Feng and Kanglong have never dealt with Genshin, but they know that Fang Chi's blood level is very high, and even Dragon and Phoenix have to give in half a step. The higher the level of the beast, the more it cherishes its feathers. In order to maintain the image of the race, most of the time they're dignified and dignified. There is really no such public swearing. Fang Xi's continuous output made the surrounding area completely silent except for its voice. Xiao Mushroom, who was originally preparing to fight, was also stunned on the spot. It decided to wait and see if Fang Xi could make the opponent lose his sense of control. If he took action at that time, he would have a greater chance of winning. When Fang Xi first spoke, the old man's expression was as calm as a mountain. He has traveled to so many universes and seen all kinds of creatures, and he no longer cares about appearance. If he wanted to look better, he only needed a pill. On the contrary, he was happy to listen to Fang Xi's output. The longer Fang Xi scolded, the wider the field he could expand and the more beneficial it was to him. Fang Qingran only knew a little about the five elements order flag. Do you think disturbing his mind would make him lose control? Fang Qingran was still too naive. As long as the five elements order flag is there, his Taoist heart cannot be broken. A separate field and position has been formed here. Here, he can activate the secret method without consuming any power. The secret method is called the secret method. In addition to the difficulty of using it, each secret method requires a lot of your own strength to use. But within the five elements order banner, he can safely use Shuanren spells and secret techniques. Not only that, at critical moments, he can also summon beasts with the same strength as him to help him once. The summoned beast will temporarily lose consciousness and obey his arrangements. After completing the help, the beast will unconsciously return to its original location. In the universe, beasts hiding in the cracks of space abound. He can summon a beast with the power of the Lord of the Universe 3 times. Therefore, even if Feng Qinggran had more treasures, it would be impossible for him to defeat him. Feng Qinggran saw that Feng Si had been outputting for a long time and the old man had no response, so he sent a message to Feng Si and said, Feng Si, he is a profound practitioner of Xuanmen. Feng Si paused for a moment, and instantly understood what Feng Qinggran meant, and changed his words, Old man, what is your position in the Xuanmen? Have you entered the inner gate? By the way, there are many sect masters and secret masters in Xuanmen. Have you ever tried to be one of the sect masters? You are so powerful, you must be entrusted with important tasks by the leader of Xuanmen, right? The leader should be able to remember your name, right? Ellipsis. Feng Si had outputted a lot before, but the old man didn't respond. Unexpectedly, when Feng Si mentioned Xuanmen, the old man's expression changed obviously. Especially when Feng Si mentioned the inner door, the old man's eyes turned cold for several degrees. He had to admit that Feng Si was right. If Xuanmen valued him, how could they not let him enter the inner gate? He would not be allowed to come to this remote universe to stare at old man Chang'an. Since he came here, the main gate has never contacted him or cared about him. Xuanmen will send many Xuanmen to perform tasks in the universe. He was the only one who acted alone and was not taken seriously by the main gate. When the old man thought about this, he suddenly felt a heartbreaking pain in his soul. Poof! The old man spat out a mouthful of blood. He was complaining about Xuanmen just now, but he was counterattacked by the loyalty goo. The old man wiped away the blood from his mouth and stared at Feng Si coldly. This was the universe and he could not touch the divine beast yet. He couldn't touch the Genshin, so he could only target its contractors. Wait until he takes care of Feng Qinggran. Let's settle the score with the god of Zhen again. The old man was glad that he was within the realm of the 5 elements order flag, otherwise the backlash of the loyalty goo would not have been so light. The old man used the power of the command flag to attack Feng Qinggran's domain. The little mushroom rushed out at this moment, and several mushroom mountains smashed at the old man at the same time. Naturally, the old man discovered the little mushroom immediately. His eyes narrowed slightly. The aura of chaos on this mushroom was so strong. Could it be a treasure from the period of chaos? I really want to thank Feng Qinggran for bringing such a good treasure to him. The old man flicked his sleeves, and those mushroom mountains turned into powder. The old man grabbed the little mushroom through the void. He didn't notice at all that when Mushroom Mountain was destroyed, the golden halo on his body faded a lot. Little mushroom, get out of the way, Feng Qinggran said using her mind. The little mushroom managed to avoid the old man's hand. The power of chaos has not fully taken effect yet, so he cannot be caught yet. Feng Qinggran discovered that there were cracks in the domain, and suddenly thought of the black snake totem from before. Feng Qinggran raised her wrist and took in all the little ones around her. Feng Si was left alone outside. Feng Si is protected by the laws of Taichu and will not be in danger. Feng Qinggran took out the staff of Quan Chong and the black snake totem. Feng Si, protect me the moment I withdraw my domain, Feng Qinggran said to Feng Si. Master Feng, do you want to use the totem to deal with him? Feng Si asked in surprise. No, I want the black snake to break through the 5 elements realm. Feng Qinggran replied. The black snake was able to cause cracks in her domain last time, so this time she used the power of chaos to draw the black snake, which would definitely destroy the 5 elements domain. It just took her some time to draw the black snake. During this period, the old man will definitely attack her, and the totem drawing cannot be interrupted. Xiao Feng, think about it carefully. Once you enter the 5 elements realm, you will be suppressed from all directions and easily injured. Hongmeng Tree said through the message. It is said that wealth can be found in danger. But it didn't want Feng Qinggran to take any risks. Hongmeng, don't worry, I'm measured. After Feng Qinggran finished speaking, he glanced at the location in the void and raised the corners of his lips slightly. If she encountered the 5 elements order flag in other universes, she would really not dare to take such a risk. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 1404, Want to quit. But just like Feng Si said, this is the Taichu universe. The consciousness of the universe in the beginning will be biased towards her. The suppression of her by the 5 elements order flag was not as strong as imagined. Feng Qinggran and Feng Si exchanged a look. The moment Feng Qinggran withdrew her domain, she felt an overwhelming sense of suffocation. Now she can only exert the strength of the Lord of Origin. Feng Qinggran's thoughts flashed through her mind, and she looked at the totem seriously before drawing it. Feng Si spreads its wings. The moment the wings flap, its feathers glow with color, and the golden crown on its head shines brightly. In this dark void, it is particularly dazzling. Every feather on its tail is full of brilliance, seemingly containing endless power, demonstrating its nobility and majesty. Feng Si blocked the pressure from all areas for Feng Qinggran, and looked at the old man with unruly eyes. Old man, what are you looking at? You can't be jealous of me. If you were half as powerful as me, Xuanmen would definitely give you up as a sacrifice. Unfortunately, Tusk, TSK, you are a waste and don't deserve Xuanmen's attention. Old man, you are unlucky to meet me today. As soon as Feng Si opened his mouth, his noble image was instantly compromised. Genshin, are you saying these words to protect Feng Qinggran? The old man sneered. Xiao Mushroom calmed down and realized that brother Feng Si did not care about his image in order to save Lord Feng. Correct. That must be the case. The god of suppression is an unparalleled god of suppression, and he will never chatter and output. Brother Feng Si must have done this to save Lord Feng. The little mushroom was so moved that he used his power again, and several mountains of mushrooms hit the old man. The old man originally wanted to bypass Feng Si and attack Feng Qinggran directly, but after sensing the mushroom mountain, he had to stop and instead deal with the oncoming black mushrooms. The pure black mushroom not only has a strong aura of chaos, but also an indescribable taste. This smell seems to penetrate into the sea of consciousness and smoke into the soul. Vomit. The old man couldn't help but retch and immediately strengthened the protective barrier. But that smell lingers in the sea of consciousness for a long time. The old man could detect that the smell was mixed with poison, but the poison didn't work on him. The old man looked at the little mushroom cautiously. The spiritual plant in front of him was more powerful than he imagined. It should have evolved to the level of the ancestral spirit. Fortunately, he encountered it in the five elements realm. There was not much left of the golden halo around the old man. The little mushroom knew that the power brought by the mushroom had worked. As long as you delay for a while, you can destroy the old man's protective flag. Old man, can you stop looking at the little mushroom with disgusting eyes? I finally know why Xuanmen doesn't like you. It must be because the leader doesn't like you. Fang Xi spoke up again. The old man clenched his fists. Xuanmen. What he tried his best to ignore, Fang Xi insisted on mentioning it in his ears over and over again. The old man couldn't bear it anymore. Zhenshin, I can't attack you. There are many beasts that can deal with you. After the old man finished speaking, a red light flashed in his eyes. Then, he pointed toward the void, and a crack in space appeared. A giant beast emerged from the crack. The giant beast was dozens of feet long and had glassy eyes. As soon as the giant beast appeared, it rushed towards Fang Xi. Damn it, you don't have martial ethics. Fang Xi yelled, but without much more, he directly faced the giant beast. There is a phoenix lord behind it. It cannot be avoided. The power of Fang Xi and the giant beast collided for a moment. The void trembled. The shiny boundary marker that Fang Qingran could see before was gone. In the entire void, only Fang Xi and the five elements flag were shining. The giant beast Fang Xi fought was already stronger than it. In addition, it had to take care of Fang Qingran behind it, so it was suppressed and beaten by the giant beast for a while. Seeing this, the old man prepared to use his power to deal with Fang Qingran. At this moment, a small thing as big as a palm flew out from Fang Qingran's body. It landed on the head of the giant beast and said, "Stop." The next moment, the giant beast stopped attacking and turned its eyes, as if to regain its clarity. When the old man saw this, he was horrified and immediately used secret techniques to send the giant beast back. Only then did I have the energy to look at the little thing just now. When he saw it, he looked in disbelief. The thing just now turned out to be a yellow, soft and cute little chicken. The little chicken stood on top of Zhenshin, tilting his head and looking at him. Old guy, Xuanmen, disgusting, a thief who steals things. Chicken Little is everything. Wanling has seen it in the inheritance. In order to protect it, its creator fought against Xuanmen several times and was eventually exterminated. When the old man saw Wanling, he suddenly wanted to retreat. Maybe he underestimated Fang Qingran. The other party is just not as good as him. But that doesn't mean he can kill her. Thinking of this level, the old man wanted to leave. He wanted to go back to the main gate and tell the leader of Fang Qingran's existence. Click. The sudden sound made the old man alert. Before the old man could take a closer look, he felt pain coming from the sea of consciousness. The colors of the five elements order flags all faded. Indestructible Mushroom Mountain. A shout rang out. The next moment, a golden mushroom mountain hit the old man on the head. At the same time, Fang Qingran's figure flashed, came to the red flag, and grabbed the flag. The flag that was originally covered in flames extinguished the flames the moment Fang Qingran touched it, and the flag became dim. The old man didn't care about the dimmed flag. He is urging the golden flag to prop up the barrier. But he found that the barrier caused cracks to form in Mushroom Mountain. At this time, the other three flags also dimmed. Only the flag beside the old man was still glowing. But under the influence of CO Mushroom's previous power of chaos, the golden flag could not last long. The barrier on the old man was quickly broken. Fang Qingran quickly grabbed the golden flag. In an instant, her expression changed. CO Jingyu, Zhu Zhao, chase. After Fang Jingyu and Zhu Zhao came out, they immediately went in one direction. Phoenix Master, he is under Mushroom Mountain. What are Brother Yue and Zhu Zhao chasing? Little Mushroom asked puzzledly. He used the method of the golden cicada to escape from its shell. Ah, the little mushroom took back the Mushroom Mountain, and the old man below had no breath. Fang Qingran said, his contract with the five elements order flag is still there, but he gave up his body. When they reach the realm of the Lord of the Universe, ascetics basically have two bodies. So it is not unusual to abandon a body. As long as the opponent's soul does not disappear, the contract between him and the five elements order flag will still be there. She is weaker than him. The five elements flag is also an innate treasure. There was no way she could void the contract between him and Ling Qi. In this case, even if she gets something, it doesn't entirely belong to her. Instead, the opponent can detect her position through the command flag. But if the five elements order flag was placed here, she would really be reluctant to part with it. So the best way is to let the other party die. As long as the opponent doesn't get out of the barrier of Taichu universe, there is a chance to catch him. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 1405, The Oath of Priestly Laws, additional update. Fang Qingran picked up the five flags, took back the little mushroom, and headed in the direction of Zhu Zhao and Fang Jingyu. Fang Xi and Wanling followed behind. Fang Jingyu and Zhu Zhao chased the old man's spirit, but the other party escaped very fast and were about to reach the cosmic barrier. But at this moment, a coffin suddenly appeared. The old man's soul was instantly pulled into the coffin. Fang Jingyu and Zhu Zhao looked at each other and stopped. The coffin floated in front of Fang Jingyu and Zhu Zhao, and an evil voice came from inside, do you want this soul? Fang Jingyu and Zhu Zhao were both silent. XCC's voice sounded again, do you want to speak quickly? If you don't speak, I will swallow it. How about CO Jingyu, Zhu Zhao? Fang Qingran followed. Sister Fang, let this coffin be cut off. Fang Jingyu said. Zhu Zhao jumped onto the coffin and felt it. Why did this breath feel so familiar? It seems to be an evil spirit, but it doesn't look like it. Fang Qingren's eyes fell on the coffin, and her eyebrows were slightly raised. Isn't this the coffin that Senior Nan Xuan always carries? Why are you here? Master Fang, there is a seal on this coffin. There is no way to open it from the inside. Why don't we just destroy it and kill two birds with one stone? Fang Xi said with a loud voice and some excitement. Zhenshen, what kind of bad idea did you come up with? I am a god, and I have a priesthood. If you dare to touch me, I will never be done with you. The evil god shouted angrily. All of them are his nemesis. Senior evil god, why are you here? Fang Qingran asked with a smile. HMPH, I have to ask your good father about this. He was afraid that I would threaten you, so he threw it out to me indiscriminately. Evil god said angrily. Fang Qingran was stunned for a moment when she heard the evil god's words. Was it him? It seemed that he was stronger than she thought. He is there in the plane. She can go to a few more universes with peace of mind. Boom, boom, boom. The evil god knocked on the coffin and said, Fang Qingran, please let me out quickly. I won't hold you accountable for your father's fault. Fang Xi was the first to speak out. Why should I let you out? Will letting you out bring harm to the world? The evil god said confidently, Zhenshen, what are you talking about? I have never done anything harmful to nature, okay? Yes, you didn't take the initiative, so what is the evil spirit? The evil spirit was not weak at all. The evil spirit was created to deal with the spirit of decay and to benefit the common people. Qi agreed. Fang Xi chuckled and said, haha, you will definitely give yourself some gold. Regarding the evil god, there are still records in its inheritance. The evil god is the god who is both good and evil. They will not actively create disasters. But he would stand by and watch every disaster and never take action to save others. If the evil god takes action to resolve the disaster, it will definitely be another kind of disaster. In short, the evil god is a lord who fears chaos in the world, so you must be careful when contacting him. The inheritance does not mention the sins of evil gods. Just warn it to stay away from evil gods. Senior evil god, if you want me to let you go, you can let me go first. The contract between the divine soul you grabbed and the Five Elements flag is released. Fang Qingran said unhurriedly. Is the Five Elements flag yours? Evil god asked. A cold voice sounded, it is impossible for me to terminate the contract. The evil god asked calmly, are you sure? There was silence. After a while, the evil god's voice sounded again, give me a quarter of an hour. Time passed by, and Fang Qingran realized that the contract on the Five Elements order flag was terminated. Can you let me out? Evil god said. Why let you out? This is just the first condition. Fang Xi acted as Fang Qingran's mouthpiece. Okay, you say the second one, of course it's better to be the last one. When the evil god said this, he already had a threatening tone. Fang Qingran found that the broken contract of the Five Elements order flag became looming. Fang Qingran's eyes were a little deeper, and everyone really had his own way. The broken contract can be renewed. Senior evil god, after I release you, are you going to return to this plane? Fang Qingran asked. Nonsense, evil god said. His main body is still in the plane. He must go back. My second condition is that I want Senior to help me get rid of the evil dragons. This should be an easy task for you, right? Fang Qingran said. No problem at all, I agree. The evil god said with a very good attitude. Snort. Agree now. He won't care about it after he goes back. He doesn't do thankless things. Besides, the presence of evil spirits is beneficial to him. It's a good thing that he didn't secretly help the evil dragon. Senior, if you have made an oath of law with your priesthood, I will let you out. Fang Qingran said sincerely. The evil god was silent. Why did Fang Qingran know about the oath of priesthood law? Wrong. The evil god suddenly became excited. Fang Qingran, have you seen them? Who are they, senior evil god, talking about? Fang Qingran asked, pretending not to know. Once the covenant oath of the priesthood law is established, even the god who is favored by the law cannot break it. Of course, this oath is based on the premise of having a priesthood. It just so happens that the evil god also has a priesthood. The priesthood cannot restrain the evil god, only the oath of law can. Fang Qingran, who am I talking about? You know it in your heart. You don't need to show off. Did they teach you a lot? Asked the evil god. Senior evil god, aren't we talking about the oath? Fang Qingran asked with an unexpected answer. The evil god still asked, Fang Qingran, are they hiding in the Xuanchu position to face them? Let me tell you, no matter what they say to you, don't believe it, they're just a bunch of liars. Fang Qingran. How could the evil god have the nerve to say that Ancestor Yunshang and the others were liars? Fang Qingran, is there a King Feng Jiu man among them? The evil god finally asked the question he wanted to ask. You mean Qi? You have indeed seen them. Where is Qi? Fang Qingran, as long as you tell me Qi's location, I can agree to you 3 conditions. The evil god said excitedly. I can tell you Qi's location, but only if you first swear an oath of law to eliminate the evil dragons and them. After I come back, I will tell you Qi's location. Fang Qingran raised the corners of her lips and smiled slyly. When will you come back? Evil god asked. Do not know. When the evil god heard this answer, he gritted his teeth. He had been waiting for it for several epochs anyway. A little longer would be okay. If you want to find Qi, why not cooperate with our Xuanman? We can help you deduce the show. Shut up. Xuanman is nothing. The old man was interrupted by the evil god mid-sentence. Compared to Xuanman, Fang Qingran is obviously more reliable. There were so many people Fang Qingran cared about in the Xuanchu plain, so she definitely wouldn't dare to play tricks on him. The evil god swore an oath of law as required. Senior, you should be able to find Xuanchu's location and go in, right? Fang Qingran asked. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 1406 Fang Xi acts like a baby. Of course, the evil god responded very quickly. His main body is still in the Xuanchu plain. No matter how deeply Xuanchu hides, he can still sense his location. If he wasn't afraid of being thrown out by that lunatic Tianyu again, he would still need to find Fang Qingran to cooperate. Hum. After he gets out, Tianyu must be taught a lesson. He actually dared to throw him out of the plane over and over again, and even set a seal on the coffin. Senior evil god, then give me the soul in your hand, and I will send you into the plane. Fang Qingran said happily. The evil god balled up the soul in his hand, and was afraid that the other party would play any tricks, so he directly added a mark to prevent the other party from escaping. He remembered that Xuanmen had the most sinister tricks. We can't let this old guy strut hurt Fang Qingran. He was still waiting for Fang Qingran to come back and tell him Qi's location. The evil god did everything and sent the old man's soul ball away. Here it is. By the way, little friend Fang, I will help you completely erase the contract between him and the 5 elements flag of heaven and earth. Although the 5 elements flag of heaven and earth is a good thing, it should not be used too often, as it can easily lead to disaster. You have never seen the outside world, and you don't understand how greedy creatures are. They can hold on to you for a treasure, regardless of life and death. Little friend Fang, I will teach you a law concealment technique. As long as you use it on the treasures or animals in your hand, no one in the realm of the Lord of Law or below will be able to spy on their level. There are very few masters of law in the universe. The probability of Fang Qingran encountering him is low. Fang Qingran was not a troublemaker, and the Lord of General Laws would not target her. He also hoped that Fang Qingran would come back soon and tell him where Qi was. No. I have to think about it again, what else has not been explained clearly? The evil god was still thinking, but Fang Qingran had already captured the old man's soul. Fang Qingran found that the spirit in his hand had completely lost its attack power. Fang Qingran searched all the memories of the soul. At this look, her expression turned gloomy, just as she had guessed. Xuanmen in the Xuanchu plane is just a small branch, not even the inner gate of Xuanmen. The leader of Xuanmen can decide the disaster, life and death of thousands of creatures with just a flick of his finger. According to the old man's memory, there would have been more disasters in Xuanchu, but it was the cooperation of old man Chang'an and his mother that saved hundreds of millions of living beings from suffering. But other worlds in the universe that encountered Xuanmen were not as lucky as Xuanchu. In order to maintain their inscrutable image, Taoism deduces destiny. On the one hand, he secretly provokes all kinds of fights and sufferings, and on the other hand, he acts as a savior, saving suffering creatures and reaping merits. Except for Xuanchu, many worlds have reached the point of obeying Xuanmen. The leader of Xuanmen really played a big game of chess. Fang Qingran's eyes flashed and she sneered. She likes to use the world as a chessboard and all living beings as chess pieces, right? Then she would chop off the claws one by one. Look how they still play chess. Master Phoenix, can you give me this soul? Zhu Zhao asked cautiously. The soul of the Lord of the Universe is a great tonic. Even so, it also feels very fragrant. Sister Fang, I want to have a taste of this, Fang Jingyu said. When Fang Si heard Zhu Zhao and Fang Jingyu's words, he turned his eyes, approached Fang Qingran, and said coquettishly in a very pitiful tone, Fang tilde Master tilde I want to eat this too, he is very suitable for me. Fang tilde Master tilde just have mercy on me, can you give it to me? I just tried to deal with him, but my voice was hoarse. As soon as Fang Si finished speaking, Zhu Zhao and Fang Qingran's bodies trembled in unison. Zhu Zhao looked away, not looking at Fang Si. It was over, it could no longer face the divine beast. Fang Jingyu's eyes became a little brighter, as if she suddenly realized that she could still snatch things like this. Fang Qingran's mouth twitched and she looked at Fang Si helplessly. Fang Si, during the time you were in the small world, are you sure you only awakened your bloodline? Didn't you learn something weird? Besides awakening my bloodline, what else can I do? Fang Si asked in confusion. Fang Qingran finally gave the soul ball to Fang Si. After Fang Si got the divine soul ball, she was extremely happy. Thank you, Master Fang, you were so kind. Then, Fang Si turned around and gave the soul ball to Fang Jingyu. Little moon, I'm giving this to you, I don't need it. Zhu Zhao. What? Fang Jingyu looked at the divine soul ball delivered to her with joyful eyes. With this divine soul ball, she can control more moonlight divine water. Thank you, brother Fang Si. Wan Ling, who was standing above Fang Si, asked in confusion, Brother Fang Si, why did you give the thing to the moon instead of the candle? It seems to need it very much. Zhu Zhao heard this and looked at Fang Si with resentful eyes. Fang Si held her head high. When I get something in my hands, I can naturally give it to whomever I want. Do I need a reason? Humph. Don't think it didn't realize what Zhu Zhao wanted to do with his soul. Oh, that's it. Some things don't need a reason. I understand. Brother Fang Qi, you are so awesome. Wan Ling nodded while speaking. Boom, boom, boom. Little friend Fang, when will you let me out? The evil god's voice sounded. After the evil god asked, a memory imprint floated out from the coffin. Little friend Fang, these are the notes I compiled about the universe. You can take a look at it first. It may be helpful to you during your trip. Fang Qingran caught the mark and said, Thank you, senior evil god, I will send you back to the plane. Wait, why don't you let me out first? The evil god asked in confusion. Fang Qingran took a few pictures of the talismans on the coffin and said, Senior, don't worry, after you enter the plane, someone will let you out. The evil god was speechless. He went in like this and was thrown out again. Fang Qingran and Tianyu truly deserve to be father and daughter. The same old 6. The evil god said, I can't enter the plane like this. Fang Qingran smiled and said, Senior evil god, don't worry, I will send you in. Don't forget that you just agreed to my request. Well done to you, Fang Qingran. Evil god gritted his teeth. Fang Qingran touched her nose. She said she would release the evil god. I didn't say I would let him out personally. Fang Qingran sensed the direction of the Xuanchu plane. Good guy, at this moment, Xuanchu was far away from where he was just now. Fang Qingran had no choice but to take the coffin and go to the Xuanchu plane. As she approached the plain, the boundary monument that was originally in darkness shone with light. Fang Qingbran saluted the boundary monument, and then pushed the coffin containing the evil god into the plain. Before that, Fang Qingbran said something else. Senior evil god, I have fulfilled my promise, don't forget your law oath. Master Fang, if you push him in like this, what if he angers all living beings? Fang Xi asked. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 1407 There is no step, find a step. Fang Qingbran smiled softly and said, he doesn't know how, and he doesn't dare. Priesthood constraints are not just words. If the evil god didn't have a special priesthood, he wouldn't have to protect the common people. How could he be so free? As long as the priesthood is there, the evil god cannot harm the common people. The evil god is so anxious to find Qi's whereabouts, probably because he wants to get rid of the constraints of the priesthood. She feels that the priesthood is actually very suitable for evil gods. Fang Qingbran glanced at the boundary monument again and said to Fang Xi, let's go. As soon as the evil god here entered the plain, Tianyu sensed it. The ancestor of Nangshuan was lying on the coffin, looking at the coffin of the same style as his body, and said with a smile, Tianyu, this guy is really persevering. He can come back again. The evil god who realized that he had entered the plain began to curse and said, a bunch of dogs, the old one is sinister and the young one is scheming. They pushed me around. When I get out, I will give you a good look. That bitch Tianyu, you'd better not push me out this time, otherwise I'm going to explode. When the ancestor of Nangshuan heard the evil god's words, he laughed and said, Tianyu, he is scolding you, do you want to throw him out? Tianyu ducked to the coffin and looked at the several talismans affixed to the coffin. Her eyes brightened slightly. They were transmission talismans. It must be Xiao Ran who wanted to tell him something. Tianyu picked up the transmission talisman. The evil god and I have reached an agreement. He will find a way to get rid of the evil dragons. You can rest assured that he will do it. With the rules and oaths, he dare not do it. The evil god's main body should be in the place abandoned by the gods. The specific location is unknown. There are still many mysterious people in the plain, so be careful. The Dark Lord and Tianchen are now anxious to get rid of Xuanmen's control. You can cooperate with them to get rid of these mysterious people. The mermaid tribe is very ambitious. They hide very deep. If you are not sure of eradicating the roots, don't move for the time being. Keep an eye on Jiang Chanyu of the Jiang family and you may gain something. I know you can't enter the world often. If you have anything to do, you can contact Emperor Yi Chan. I have already made arrangements. After Tianyu listened to the message, a smile filled her face. Ah Wu, our daughter is very good, she can already take charge of her own business. Tianyu, what did Sharon say? Nangshuan ancestor asked curiously. Nothing. Tianyu suppressed her smile and knocked on the coffin. The evil god snorted twice and said nothing. Tianyu untied the god-conferring formation on the coffin, pushed open the lid, looked at the upright evil god lying inside and said, come out. HMPH, now that you know how to ask me to go out, I tell you it's not that simple. The evil god said coldly. Tianyu, if he doesn't want to come out, I'll just close it again. Nangshuan ancestor said, about to step forward and close the lid. The evil god immediately sat up and closed the lid, who said I don't want to come out. I just want him to ask me to come out. I'm here to help. Tianyu seemed to be in a good mood. You came back late, your main body is about to come out. News about luring the evil god out has spread. What is he doing out here? Evil god asked in surprise. He hasn't had enough. Even if he and the main body are one, there is still a slight difference. Besides, he didn't make any mistakes, and there was no need for the main body to come out. Whatever you are looking for, he will come out and do it. Tianyu said. Fuck you, Tianyu, you bitch, that's why you threw me out of the plane. The evil god said angrily. He was out of the plane and inside the coffin, and all his perceptions could not be fed back to the main body. The main body must not have known that he had found Qi's whereabouts. Therefore, as long as Tianyu spreads news related to Qi, the main body will come to Tianyu after hearing it. The evil god quickly sent a message to the main body. The main body was still in seclusion and sensed the message from the evil god. Fang Qingbran has met Qi and met the gods, which means they are in this plane. If you follow Fang Qingbran's growth trajectory and search world after world, you will definitely find Qi. Why do you have to wait for her to come back and tell you? There are only a few worlds in the Xuanchu plane. If you have the evil dragon in your hand, you won't be able to find any clues. After the main body finished speaking, it cut off the connection with the secondary body. He finally got involved in some evil ways, but was interrupted by his second body. I can only realize it again. The evil god was speechless after hearing the master's condescending words. It sounds so easy, why don't you come out on your own? Didn't you know that the gods were here back then? Aren't you surprised that you didn't find it? Then he was created and left outside to find the gods. The evil god jumped out of the coffin and glanced at Tianyu with an arrogant expression. It's not impossible for me to help get rid of the evil dragon, but I have two conditions. The loss he suffered from Fang Qingbran must be recovered. What conditions? Tianyu asked cooperatively. The first one is to beat your back and pinch your legs for a month. The second one is that I am going to Lingyun sect in the immortal realm to be an elder. As long as you can handle it, I will not only get rid of the evil dragon for you, but I can also help you find the place of decay. Mother. After the evil god finished speaking, he looked sure that Tianyu would agree. The mother of decay is the most troublesome to all walks of life. Because the existence of the mother of decay will gradually pollute the avenue, allowing dark consciousness to gain the upper hand and control the avenue. If the mother of decay is not eradicated, the world will never have peace. Of course, the mother of corruption is not so easy to get rid of. The mother of decay lies very deep. Nanshuan secretly gave the evil god a thumbs up. This man is so brave and fearless. I can agree to the first one, but we need to talk about the second one after you get rid of the evil dragons. Tianyu said. No, you go and talk now. Xi Shende Kunjinchi said. After he becomes the elder of Lingyun sect, he will be able to dominate Fang Qingbran. When Fang Qingran returns to the plane, he can use his identity as an elder to instruct Fang Qingran and let Tianyu watch. Who let the father and daughter set a trap for him together? He must fight back and not go back. Then let's go. Tianyu waved. The evil god was stunned for a moment. Then I really leave you. I won't stay even if you try to keep me, and you refused my help. This doesn't count as a breach of my oath. The evil god who could have disappeared outside the realm in a few clicks walked slowly. When he came to the border, he didn't hear Tianyu's voice. The evil god deliberately said loudly, I will never come back once I leave. Don't regret it. Nan Xuan sat leisurely on the coffin and put away the one where the evil god had been lying. This thing is actually quite difficult to create. Keep it, maybe you can sell it later. Nan Xuan understood that the evil god would not leave. If Tianyu agrees to the first condition, the evil god will be reluctant to leave. After all, Tianyu slapped his back and squeezed his legs, which made his heart flutter. Not to mention the evil god. When the evil god found out that Tianyu didn't stop him, he didn't care. The ancestor of Nangshuan, who had no eyesight, didn't even come up to pull him. The evil god was suffering from the lack of stairs, and began to think about what reason he should find to retreat. By the way, Fang Qingran asked me to give you a sentence. Do you want to listen? Evil god turned around and asked. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 1408, Prehistoric Language, Additional Update. Outside the plane. Fang Qingran read the memory given by the evil god. Shocked. It turns out that the universe is far more complex than she imagined. The various ancient books she had read before were not applicable to other universes. Fang Qingran was not in a hurry to cross the cosmic barrier. Instead, he tried the 5 elements flag of heaven and earth first. But when the domain was formed, she instantly withdrew all the command flags, her eyes a little colder. I really can't put my hope in the things used by Xuanmen. Master Fang, what's wrong? Fang Si asked in confusion. The reason why the 5 elements flag is so powerful when used is because it activates the vitality of the entire universe. Fang Qingran replied. Within the realm of the 5 elements flag, contractors do not need to expend their own strength to use secret techniques, but instead rely on the vitality of the universe. The vitality of the universe will be consumed as the 5 elements domain lasts longer. If the vitality expires too much, the universal avenue will punish the user. But this time, the user is protected by the 5 elements flag. The user can completely transfer the punishment of the avenue to the opponent. Especially when the opponent's strength is lower than that of the user, the 5 elements flag can also impose the resulting cause and effect on the opponent. No wonder the evil god would say that this thing should be used sparingly. The old man had only used the secret method of the 5 elements domain once, and it had already had an impact on the universe. The strength of the cosmic barrier is related to the vitality of the universe. The stronger the vitality, the stronger the barrier of the universe, and the less likely it is for outsiders to invade. No wonder the vitality of the universe in the beginning was always insufficient. I am afraid that the old man has a lot to do with this. Old thing, it's really not a good thing. Master Fang, let me help you destroy this thing. Fang Si asked. No, keep whatever Xuanmen likes for them to use. Fang Qingran sneered. There is no specific Xuanmen place in the old man's memory. This should be because Xuanmen placed a ban on the old man's soul in order to prevent his position from being exposed. But according to the old man's memory, he can still get a glimpse. Xuanmen has a separate universe. That universe is full of mysterious beings. This 5 elements command flag can just be used in that universe. Repay the other person in his own way. Okay, let's set off. This time we will punish rape and eliminate evil together. Fang Si said excitedly. Punishing rape and eradicating evil, Wanling echoed. As a result, Fang Si and Wanling happily followed Fang Qingran out of the barrier of the universe. Once out. A huge boulder came towards me. What the hell? What the hell? Fang Si dodged, and another boulder came from the side. Fang Si sensed a strange power on these boulders and did not dare to touch them. He just tried his best to avoid them. Fang Qingran also dodged several boulders. But she found that she and Fang Si seemed to have fallen into a nest of huge rocks. Boulders weighing hundreds of millions of kilograms were flying everywhere. The target of these boulders was not her and Fang Si. But there were too many of them, and there were always a few that had to pass her by. Didn't you say that there is another universe outside the universe? Why is there no aura of avenue in this area? Fang Si shouted. Wanling stood above Fang Si and didn't need to worry at all. It has time to observe its surroundings. As far as the eye can see from here, there is endless void, and there are flying boulders. Brother Fang Si, this should be the dark void that separates the universe. I heard that to go from one universe to another, you have to pass through the dark void. There are all kinds of dangers in the dark void. It may contain devouring behemoths, dark whirlpools, etc. You may also encounter some supreme powerhouses fighting. They have no scruples in fighting here and will not hold back at all. Many strong men will restrain themselves when fighting in the universe. After all, if one person fails and hurts too many innocent people, all sorts of consequences will befall him. But when it comes to the dark void, there is no need to worry. There is neither heaven nor life here, so we can fight freely. As for those creatures that occasionally break into the dark void, whether they survive depends entirely on luck. Fang Si fell silent. After all, he suffered from insufficient inheritance. He is not strong enough to start a high level of inheritance, so his understanding of the outside world is not as good as that of all spirits. After Fang Si and Fang Qingran hid for a while, they found that the boulder had disappeared. At this moment, a voice sounded. The words used by the other party made Fang Qingran feel slightly unfamiliar. Fang Qingran's eyes were alert and she took Fang Si and Wanling back. At the same time, she affixed several talismans to herself. Even in the dark void where there is no way of heaven, the talisman can still be used. Master Fang, this is the language of the late prehistoric period. I will translate it for you first. Then I will transmit the usage of these languages to you, Feng Zhiqiu said happily. Okay, Feng Qingran responded. Ellipsis. You old thing, I told you, calm down, you're fine now, you almost hit someone. Is it my fault? You obviously threw it at me first, I just threw it back. The boulder I throw is only tens of meters wide, but the boulder you throw back at me is hundreds of meters wide. How dare you say that? Two noisy voices sounded, coming towards Feng Qingran little by little. Feng Qingran listened to Feng Zhiqiu's translation and watched the two immortal and kind-hearted old men come to her. An old man in white robe said, I'm sorry, little fellow Taoist. You are not injured, are you? An old man in a green robe raised his hand, and a bottle of elixir floated in front of Feng Qingran. The other party said coldly, I apologize. Two seniors, I'm fine. Thank you for your kindness. I don't need the pill anymore. Feng Qingran responded politely and pushed the pill back according to Feng Zhiqiu's instructions. The old man in green robe saw Feng Qingran's movements, and with a look, the elixir returned to Feng Qingran. There is a strange substance in this dark void. Your strength is not strong enough to resist the intrusion of this substance into your body. You'd better take a pill. The old man in green robe finished speaking. The white-robed old man continued, My little fellow Taoist, don't be afraid. We have no ill intentions. We just see that your little fellow Taoist is full of righteousness, so we should pay more attention to him. If the little Taoist friend has the elixir himself, then we won't meddle in other people's business. This kind of weird substance has appeared since the prehistoric period. It didn't exist before. Many masters of the universe have been accidentally tricked and eventually became puppets of this kind of material. When the old man in white robe spoke, his expression was always amiable. Master Phoenix, this weird substance is so familiar. I've sensed it in predators before. I always feel that this thing has something to do with dogs. The devouring consciousness said. Feng Qingran agreed very much with the words of devouring consciousness. Feng Qingran thanked the two old men again before accepting the elixir. Little fellow Taoist, why did you enter the dark void alone? Where are your parents? The old man in white robe asked with concern. To walk in the dark void, the lowest level of strength needs to be the peak of the origin lord. Feng Qingran was the first person he saw who dared to enter the dark void in the early days of the Lord of Creation. If Feng Qingran didn't have special abilities, there was a strong person hiding behind him, or he was deceived out of the cosmic barrier. He has encountered one or two of these. My parents agreed, Feng Qingran said. Xiao Feng, these two old guys are not simple. Maybe you can try to find out where they come from. The Hongmeng tree said. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 1409 covering everything. After Feng Qingran listened to the message from the Hongmeng tree, she did not choose to ask the old man about his origins. The two old men stood in this dark void, without any aura fluctuations around them. This shows that their strength has reached the point where they have returned to their original nature. Most of the cultivators of this strength have already become saints and have experienced countless years. Dealing with such a cultivator and taking the initiative to speak will only reveal your own secrets. Hongmeng, have you sensed the location of the immortal realm? Feng Qingran asked via voice message. She has her own goals and direction. Don't worry about passers-by. Hongmengshu became hesitant. Well, Xiaofeng, there's good news and bad news, which one do you want to hear? Hear the bad news first, Feng Qingran said. The bad news is that I can't sense the location of the immortal realm. When I transformed into the mother tree species, the universe has already undergone earth-shaking changes, so there are not many cosmic world trees that I can sense now. After Hongmengshu finished speaking, he carefully waited for Feng Qingran's response. It's really not my fault. A small world is constantly changing. What's more, the vast universe is so vast. Feng Qingran was completely unfazed after hearing Hongmengshu's answer. She had already guessed this outcome after she got the memory given by the evil god. The specific location of the immortal realm is definitely not that easy to find. Fortunately, she can sense the general direction of the immortal domain. As long as she is infinitely close to the immortal realm, she can activate the special contract between Mo Jinggong and herself to contact him. Now that she is too far away from the immortal realm, and separated by the dark void, the sea of time, and various universes, the contract cannot be activated for the time being. She wants to see him. Of course, it's not just limited to meeting him. She wanted to see what was going on in other universes along the way. Learn more about the way of cultivation, and then comprehend various Taoist methods. See the entire universe change. Then get rid of more mysterious people. Xiao Feng, aren't you angry? Hongmengshu sent a voice message and asked. What's the good news? The good news is that I have contacted several more cosmic world trees. Through them, I know that the immortal realm is not there. The Hongmeng tree also knows that it is a bit unkind. Previously, he had sworn to tell Feng Qingran that as long as he left Chuanchu, he would be able to sense the location of the immortal realm. Who would have known that after it came out, it would contact very few cosmic world trees? It can only be inferred that the immortal realm is not there with them. But based on these cosmic world trees, there is no way to deduce the specific location of the immortal domain. Just in case it points in the wrong direction. Xiaofeng could only go further and further. Hongmeng tree spoke again. Xiao Feng, don't worry, I can continue to contact the universe world tree, it just takes some time. It can actually go out of the void space, stand directly in the dark void, and contact various world trees in the universe. In this way, you can quickly establish a link with the cosmic world tree. But this ostentatious approach can lead to many dangers. It dare not use it. It can't even be used. Hongmeng, I can find a way to the immortal realm, don't worry. Feng Qingran comforted him. What, can you find it? Isn't your mark lost? Hongmengshu said in shock. Feng Qingran raised the corners of her lips slightly and said, it was originally lost, but when I was repairing the Taoist artifact, I caught a trace of Ammo's breath on it. Taoist weapon, that Buyuya that Mo Jinggong gave you. After Hongmengshu finished speaking, he fell into silence. This breath was definitely left behind by Mo Jinggong on purpose. Could it be that Mo Jinggong had already calculated that Fang Qingbran would go to Kangshuan continent? It is also considered that Fang Qingbran will experience the world-destroying thunder catastrophe. Hong Mengshi didn't know what to say for a moment. Co-author Mo Jinggong has considered everything, and his concern seems a bit unnecessary. Next, Fang Qingbran only needs to follow that wisp of breath to find the immortal realm. Mo Jinggong had even calculated the world-destroying thunder catastrophe. He must have left special instructions for Fang Qingbran on the way. The Hongling tree felt like it didn't have to worry about anything and could lie down completely. By following Xiaofeng around, it is estimated that it will soon be able to control the world trees of thousands of universes. At this moment, Hong Mengshi no longer suggested that Fang Qingbran test the old man. Fang Zhiqiu had already passed on most of the prehistoric language to Fang Qingbran. Fang Qingbran read through it with her mind and roughly understood it. The old man in green robe was originally preparing to leave. But he was held back by the old man in white robe. The old man in white robe looked at Fang Qingbran with a kind smile and said, "Little Taoist friend, I see that you have excellent bones and extraordinary qualifications. Our continent is holding the Battle of Cloud Summit. Do you want to participate?" "Why did you invite me?" Fang Qingbran said bluntly. After the old man in white robe saw her, his attitude was very friendly and he was not wary of strangers at all. Even if the old man's strength is far higher than hers. Don't be afraid of her. But the old man's excessive enthusiasm still made her notice something. The old man should have a purpose. On the other hand, the old man in green robe who always had a cold face had nothing to ask for. Seeing that his purpose was discovered, the old man in white robes was not embarrassed at all. Instead, he said without scruples, "To be honest, this battle at Yundian is very important to us and is related to the future of the Xuanji sect. This battle at the top of the cloud only requires the age of the contestants and does not place any restrictions on strength. All contestants are on the same challenge stage. Those who are not strong enough will be knocked down once they get on stage." Originally, it was not a problem for our Xuanji sect to win this battle, but in recent times, all the disciples in our sect who could win the battle have died for no reason. Now the remaining disciples simply cannot win the game. Fellow Taoist, the rewards in the Battle of Cloud Peak are very generous. As long as you win the game, we, the Xuanji sect, will not need any of those rewards. In addition, our Xuanji sect will give you another treasure of heaven and earth. Of course, if you are not satisfied with the treasure we give you, I can make the decision and let you enter the Xuanji sect's treasure house and select 3 treasures yourself. A sect's treasure house is the lifeblood of a sect. It is also the foundation of the sect. The fact that the old man in white robe can say this promise is a sign of great sincerity. After all, after Fang Qingbran entered the treasure house, it was equivalent to knowing all the trump cards of the Xuanji sect. After the white-robed old man finished speaking, he added, "Little fellow Taoist, it doesn't matter if you refuse, we won't force you." Fang Qingbran did not answer immediately, but asked, "Which Xuanji is your Xuanji sect?" "The Xuanji in the first 4 stars of the Bidu," the old man in white robe said. Fang Qingbran's eyes flashed slightly. Senior Xuanji's Xuanji, could the sect be related to Senior Kang Xuanji? She didn't believe it was just a coincidence. "Why is your sect called Xuanji sect?" Fang Qingbran asked. "This name was given by the founder of our sect. The founder of our sect is very mysterious and did not leave a name." The old man in white robe explained very patiently. Fang Qingbran nodded. "Since you are investigating the cause of death of those disciples, why are you fighting here?" "Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore." Chapter 14 10 Xuanji sect. The old man in white robe fell silent, as if he didn't want to answer the question. The old man in green robe said, "We come here to fight, just fight, there is no unnecessary reason." Yes, we just came out to get some air." The old man in white robe immediately agreed. The white-robed old man sighed softly. "The Xuanji sect has basically no hope of winning the Battle of Yundian. I am very depressed, so I can only drag Xuanmingzi out to see the scenery here." The words of the old man in white robe had an air of concealment. Fang Qingbran looked around. It was dark and she couldn't see anything. Occasionally, a strange aura can be sensed. No one believes this lie. After the Battle of Cloud Peak comes to power, regardless of life or death, if you encounter a ruthless person, you will probably die. The old man in green robe suddenly said. He didn't quite agree with Kai Lingzi's move to invite Fang Qingbran. For no reason, an outsider was allowed to join the war on behalf of the sect. Not only will it bring criticism to the Xuanji sect, but it will also put Fang Qingbran in danger. Fang Qingbran's qualifications must have been carefully cultivated by big forces. If something unexpected happens to Fang Qingbran during the battle on top of the clouds, there will be a lot of trouble later. It was because Xuanji sect was too glorious in the past that it attracted the fear and suppression of Xuanmen, and most of its disciples died at the hands of Xuanmen. If Xuanmen knew that they had found an outsider, they would probably use various means to deal with Fang Qingbran. Even if Fang Qingbran finally won the game for Xuanji sect and got benefits. But Fang Qingbran, who offended Xuanmen, might find it difficult to escape unscathed. People or forces that offend Xuanmen have always had a bad end. He didn't want Fang Qingbran to take a trip into this muddy water. Can you two seniors tell me in detail about the Battle of Yundian? Fang Qingbran asked sincerely. Xuanji sect was most likely founded by Senior Kang Xuanji. The continent where Xuanji sect is located will definitely have Xuanmen. When the old man in green robe heard Fang Qingbran's question, his eyes became more probing, and his intuition told him that Fang Qingbran's reaction was wrong. When the old man in white robe heard Fang Qingbran's question, he burst into laughter and said, I am Kang Lingzi, my little fellow Taoist. Let me introduce you to the Battle of Cloud Peak. Every epoch in our universe, there will be a battle at the top of the clouds. One era here is equivalent to 129,600 years. I wonder if my fellow Taoist people calculate it this way. Fang Qingbran nodded after hearing this. Kai Lingzi's eyes suddenly lit up. The era was the same, which showed that the universe where the little fellow Taoist lived had also experienced the prehistoric times. Then the little Taoist friend's background should be enough. Kang Lingzi added, in the past, the age of the contestants was not required in the Battle of Cloud Summit competition. According to the rules, monks who participated in one competition were not allowed to participate in the second time. In this competition, as long as you enter the competition stage, you will have the opportunity to receive blessings from the Dao. As long as you win a game, you will receive a Dao Yun. Therefore, many forces attach great importance to the Battle of Cloud Summit, and the rules of the Battle of Cloud Summit were changed again and again. Later, they simply banned casual cultivators from participating in the Battle of Cloud Summit. Only various sects or family forces can participate in this competition. Gradually, the Battle of Cloud Peak changed its flavor. Until now, the Battle of Cloud Summit is no longer a simple competition. The ranking of the competition has become the standard for dividing resources among various forces. In the battle at the top of the clouds, as long as you get on stage, you can win by any means necessary. Whether you can win the game on the stage depends not only on your strength, but also on the forces behind you. This year's Battle of Cloud Summit will be held on the cosmic battlefield. The rules and rewards are prepared by Xuanmen. Xuanmen has a profound foundation, so the prizes are not bad. Basically, all the forces are working hard to win the leader. After Kai Lingzi finished speaking, he realized that he seemed to have said too much. The little fellow Taoist has not yet agreed. Saying so much would probably scare people away. Junior Fang Qingbran is willing to participate in the battle on the top of the clouds for the Xuanji sect. Fang Qingbran said with a smile. Just as she guessed, Xuanmen was indeed there. That's just enough for her to chop off the claws. If it hurts, I won't dare to play chess randomly. But after Kai Lingzi and Xuanmingzi heard Fang Qingbran's name, their expressions suddenly changed. Your surname is Fang, is it Fang from Phoenix? Kang Lingzi asked tentatively. Fang Qingbran nodded. Kai Lingzi and Xuanmingzi looked at each other with unclear expressions. Little friend Fang, I suddenly remembered that outsiders were not allowed to participate in the Battle of Yundian. I'm sorry for wasting your time, Kai Lingzi said. After Kai Lingzi finished speaking, he felt it was not appropriate and said again, Little friend Fang, where are you going? I can point you in the direction. These words had a vague meaning of urging Fang Qingbran to leave. Xuanmingzi looked at Fang Qingbran with a somewhat complicated look. Xiao Fang, my intuition tells me that there is a problem. Hong Mengshu said. Ah. Fang Qingbran felt that after she said her name, the two old men did not have any malice, but felt a strange sympathy for her. She did not miss the look of sadness that flashed through Qi Qianlingzi's eyes. Fang Qingbran thought for a while and said, do the two seniors know anyone with the surname Fang? Kang Lingzi shook his head and nodded again. Xuanmingzi glanced at Kang Lingzi and said, little fellow Taoist, you can go back and ask your parents about this. It's not convenient for us to tell you. After Xuanmingzi finished speaking, he picked up Kang Lingzi, who was still stunned, and disappeared in front of Fang Qingbran. Fang Qingbran stared at the place where Xuanmingzi disappeared, her eyes far-reaching. Xiao Ming, are we leaving like this? Kai Lingzi said in surprise. She obviously doesn't know anything. It's better not to disturb her Taoist mind. Some things are too heavy, Xuanmingzi said in a solemn tone. It's rare that I didn't care about Kang Lingzi's title. Fortunately, they didn't tell Fang Qingbran the name of the universe, nor did they bring Fang Qingbran into this place. Otherwise, Fang Qingbran would definitely be harmed. Xiao Ming, I feel very uncomfortable. The Fang family did nothing wrong, but they're asked to bear the sin. I really want to wipe out the Xuanmen, Kai Lingzi said angrily. No wonder Fang Qingbran's talent is so evil, it turns out he comes from the Fang family. This is not surprising. Xuanmingzi said, you can't beat Xuanmen. You can only hold it in if you don't feel comfortable. Let's go. We haven't solved the matter of the battle on top of the clouds yet. If possible, he wanted to let Fang Qingbran enter the universe. But if Fang Qingbran's strength comes here and encounters Xuanmen, he is afraid that his body will be wiped out. Fortunately, there is a dark void between the universe and the universe. If she didn't know the specific location, Fang Qingbran wouldn't be able to find her here. Kang Lingzi stood on the sky and looked at the world below, feeling uncomfortable in his heart. The participants of what happened back then were well aware of it. But in order to get rid of their own suspicions, those participants actually slandered the Fang family who protected them. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 14:11 Additional update. How can those guys live with peace of mind? Enjoying a good life. But the real givers have become sinners. There will be no trace of it again. Those guys really have no conscience at all. That's right, if those guys had a conscience, how could they do such a thing? Why does such a universe still exist? Sometimes, he really wants the Zerg from the Dark Void to come in here. Eat all the sinners. But no, he still has to take care of the disciples of the Xuanji sect and some innocent creatures. Kang Lingzi said with a bitter look on his face, Xiao Ming, why are we so unlucky? We look for a giant devouring beast, but we can't find it. He and Xuanmingzi left the barrier of the universe and went to the Dark Void, actually wanting to try their luck. If they could find a prehistoric level devouring beast and make a contract with the sect disciples, they might be able to win the battle on top of the clouds. But they searched in the Dark Void for a long time. Not even a hair of the devouring beast was visible. Correct. They finally encountered a giant beast on the way. But when he was about to capture the opponent, a space-time rift appeared inexplicably and pulled the opponent away. After that, they searched everywhere but never saw the devouring beast again. Xuanmingzi said coldly, don't call me Xiao Ming. Devouring giant beasts are rare, and they have existed for a long time, and they cherish their lives. They cannot appear able when they know that they can't defeat you. Kang Lingzi pretended not to hear Xuanmingzi's first words, but said helplessly, I have already said to bring a weak cultivator as a bait. You have to agree. It's fine now. I won't gain anything. Now that the battle at Yundian is imminent, there is no point in saying anything. Xuanmingzi said. The weird substances in the Dark Void cannot be resisted by cultivators with slightly inferior realms. Even if you have taken the elixir, it will still affect the other person to some extent. And anyone who has been exposed to strange substances will easily develop inner demons, which will affect their subsequent cultivation path. Thinking of this, Xuanmingzi suddenly remembered something. Fang Qingran didn't seem to take the pill he gave him, and there was no abnormality at all. You know, that weird substance can ignore the protective barrier and directly enter the body of the ascetic. Then quickly enter the meridians and sea of consciousness of the ascetic. Only those in the realm of the Lord of the Universe can fight against this strange substance. And Fang Qingran only has the strength of the creator of the world and has not taken any pills. How can he fight against the strange substance? What's even more strange is that when Fang Qingran heard about the strange substance, he looked calm and showed no fear at all. Xuanmingzi's eyes darkened slightly. Could it be that he had misunderstood that Fang Qingran was not actually a human race? If Fang Qingran is not a human, then it is probably a coincidence that her surname is Fang. Xiao Ming, let's leave like this. What if little friend Fang encounters danger? Kai Lingzi asked slightly worriedly. Xuanmingzi looked at Kang Lingzi seriously and asked, is she a human? Kan Lingzi said in surprise, Xiao Ming, okay, why are you scolding little friend Fang? You were not like this before. Xuanmingzi said, don't you find it strange? When you talked about Xuanji sect, her attitude was obviously different and she asked very detailed questions. In addition, she was clearly very wary before, but after you finished talking about the sect, she seemed to have dropped her guard against us. Also, she stayed in the dark void for so long, and there was nothing abnormal at all. Xuanmingzi expressed all his confusion. Fang Qingran's appearance was too sudden and coincidental. After listening to Xuanmingzi's words, Kang Lingzi nodded in agreement. Xiao Ming, your analysis makes sense. I also remembered one thing. There are no obstacles in our communication with little friend Fang. Even in the universe, there are still many mainland cultivators who cannot understand our language. How come little friend Fang understands our language all of a sudden? It's over, little friend Fang is not really their descendant, is he? Kai Lingzi became restless. He regretted leaving Fang Qingran alone in the dark void. But now there is no way to find Fang Qingran. In the dark void, everything is changing rapidly. Even if it stands still, its position is always changing. Even if they go out now, they won't be able to find Fang Qingran. In different locations in the dark void, time passes differently. Kai Lingzi only felt a headache. Xiao Ming, you said you didn't ask clearly, why are you running away? It's okay now, little friend Fang must be sad to see us abandoning her. Kang Lingzi said in a resentful tone. She will be fine, Xuanmingzi said firmly. Fang Qingran was able to avoid the rock slide by relying on the cultivation of the Lord of Creation, which shows how extraordinary she is. She dared to enter the dark void unscrupulously, so she must have been well prepared. Kai Lingzi said regretfully, I deliberately cannot see little friend Fang again in the future. I wish little friend Fang a safe and smooth journey. Dark void. Fang Qingran wanted to ask about Fang's surname, but in the blink of an eye, Xuanmingzi and Kang Lingzi disappeared. Not a breath was left. The dark void has no direction. Apart from being able to sense the location of the Taichu universe, she had no breath of any living beings around her. Entering the dark void, you must find a way to get out of here quickly. If you stay here for a long time, you will lose all sense after all. Master Fang, do you want to find them? Fang Zhichu asked quietly. Chu, do you know their location? Fang Qingran asked in surprise. Fang Zhichu responded, when they spoke the prehistoric language, I captured their aura. Hongmeng should be able to find the universe where they're based on this aura. After Fang Zhichu finished speaking, he entered the space and passed his breath to Hongmeng Tree. The reason why it probed the auras of Xuanmingzi and Kang Lingzi just now was to see if they were involved in the battle to snatch the gourd. All the combatants who participated in the robbery of the 7 gourds back then had the blood aura of the other party. In this way, even if the other party dies, it can still find a way to seek revenge from the descendants. Don't say that disaster will not affect the 3rd generation. When they commit crimes, they should think about karma and retribution. They caused it and the 7 gourds so much harm, there must be a price to pay. It won't kill their descendants, but it will definitely take away something important from the descendants. Causal loop. Revenge when there is a grudge, and revenge when there is a grudge. Chu, you are awesome. Xiao Fang, Chu is really amazing. You can actually leave the opponent's aura silently. I really found the universe where they are, Hong Mengshu said happily. It just sensed several cosmic world trees, which happened to be the universe where Kai Lingzi and Xuanmingzi were located. However, the universe where Xuanmingzi is located is very complicated. If Xiaofeng enters it, he may be suppressed. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 14:12, The Universe, Golden Ticket 1. In addition, he has to endure 9 world-shattering thunder tribulations. This is the warning given by the Universal Avenue to outsiders. It is also the protection of the inner beings by the Great Avenue of the Universe. Xiao Fang, it treats outsiders like this simply because its universe is special. The universe in the heavens is not like the universe in the beginning. There are no planes in it, and there is no cosmic boundary sea. All continents and worlds are connected to each other through teleportation arrays, and there is no such thing as world turbulence. If an intruder in this kind of universe has ulterior motives, it will easily bring disaster to all living beings. Therefore, anyone who enters the universe must pass the test of questioning the mind of the 9 world-shaking thunder tribulations. Those who pass can stay in the universe. Those who do not pass will be expelled directly. Of course, if you can't withstand even the overwhelming thunder and calamity, it's best not to go in. Otherwise there is only a dead end. After all, the universe of the heavens is a universe that has existed since the ancient times. There are many strong people in it, and outsiders who are too weak will not be able to see enough. This is also a kind of protection for outsiders. Hongmeng, is there anything else you haven't said? Fang Qingran asked. The Hongmeng tree was silent for a moment. The cosmic boundary tree asked you to help it get rid of the dark consciousness of the avenue after you enter. In recent years, the mother of decay has been rampant in the mainland, and the consciousness of the avenue is about to be unable to hold on. Don't look at Xiaofeng's ability to let the 9 mysterious spirits devour the dark consciousness that will entrance you. But the universe of the heavens is not Xiaofeng's home universe. Dao will naturally reject Xiao Feng. In addition, the consciousness of the Dao of the universe is not clear. Xiaofeng uses the spirit of the 9 mysteries to help the opponent clear his dark consciousness, but he is likely to encounter the backlash of the dark consciousness. Fang Qingran asked, if I agree, can I enter the universe? Yes, but thunder tribulation still has to strike, Hong Mengtri reminded. 9 world-beating thunder tribulations were an easy matter for Xiaofeng. Hong Mengshu added another sentence, Xiao Feng, the test thunder tribulation for outsiders is blue, so as soon as you enter, it is estimated that the powerful people in the universe will know that you are coming. Blue, no problem, Fang Qingran said. She just wanted to go in and investigate what happened to the person named Feng. The behavior of Xuanmingzi and Kang Lingzi was too abnormal. Her mother left her countless information, but nothing about her life experience. Even my mother herself didn't have any at all. She had investigated the Feng family. The record of my mother's birth is completely blank. Everything about my mother has been erased. There is no information about the mother's family. It's as if the mother was born out of thin air. She had sensed with the power of her blood that everyone in the Feng family had a very strange connection with her. That blood connection is not real. It seems like there is nothing. She had always suspected that the Feng family had stolen the Feng family's blood. But she is not a mother, so she cannot judge the specific things. Her doubts may be answered in the universe. Fang Qingran followed the direction given by the Hongmeng tree and traveled in the dark void for about a month before finding the barrier of the universe. At this moment, she sensed the position of Taichu, and unknowingly, the distance between Taichu and her was immeasurable. If it weren't for the mark of Taichu on her body, it would be impossible to find the Taichu universe again. Xiao Feng, the gap in the void is like this. Looking back, I don't know where I am. Fortunately, you can sense time, otherwise you would have been lost during this 1-month trip. The Hongmeng tree sounds like comfort, but in fact it is not like that. Belch. A burping sound sounded in Fang Qingran's consciousness space. Devouring consciousness hurriedly flattered, Phoenix Master, I didn't mean to eat so full. There are really too many weird substances in your body. If I don't eat them, they will hurt your body. Fortunately, Ju Xuan's spirit doesn't like absorbing this kind of material. Otherwise, I'm afraid it won't be able to grab anything. Swallow it, and thank you. If it weren't for you, I would definitely be lost in these substances. Fang Qingran said with a smile. Hey, Phoenix Master, don't worry, I will definitely not let them hurt you. Devouring consciousness said in a daze. Ah. The Phoenix Master finally praised it. Does this mean that the Phoenix Master recognizes its surrender? Before Fang Qingran was about to step into the universe, he said, Hongmeng, please communicate with the boundary tree in advance. I'm afraid I will kill people after I enter, so don't blame me. Xiao Feng, don't worry, you can kill the practitioners of Xuan sect as you like, Jishu hates them too. Hongmeng Shu said. Fang Qingran raised his hand, and a spatial crack suddenly appeared in the dark void. Fang Qingran stepped into it, and the next moment, the scene in front of her changed. She seemed to see an endless sea of stars, each star shining brightly, making the entire universe full of life. Boom. Thunderclouds gathered in the sky where Fang Qingran was. Blue lightning flashes. Occasionally mixed with 2 purple and black thunder tribulations. Xiao Feng, Jishu said that the dark consciousness is going to cause trouble. The last 2 thunder tribulations are unprecedented thunder tribulations, so you should prepare self-defense magic weapons in advance. Hongmeng Shu said. It knew that Xiaofeng was not afraid of the unparalleled thunder calamity. But the kindness of the universe world tree must be conveyed to Xiaofeng. Okay, thank it. I will help it deal with its dark consciousness before I leave. Fang Qingran responded. Then, Fang Qingran waited for the thunder disaster to come. The blue thunder tribulation appeared, instantly attracting countless powerful men. Have outsiders broken in again? There's something wrong with this thunder tribulation. Why are there still purple-black thunders ready? Look at the tribulation overcoming master. Her strength is only in the early stage of the Creator Lord. How can she withstand the world-shattering thunder calamity at this level? It's true, he's just an outsider who doesn't know his own abilities. Waiting for her will only make her lose her mind. Let her go. Hey, I haven't had an outsider play with me for a long time. It's a pity that one suddenly came and is so weak. It's such a pity that such a beautiful woman died. Ellipsis. Many powerful people come and go quickly. They unanimously thought that Fang Qingran would not survive. Only a few bored strong men decided to stay and admire the misery of outsiders. They even took out the picture stone. Xuanmingzi and Kang Lingzi are currently in the Xuanji sect, facing the upcoming battle at Yundian, with sad faces on their faces. When the disciples of the sect reported that outsiders had appeared in Xianyuan continent, they were not interested at all. Xianyuan continent is far away from Xuanji continent. What does outsiders have to do with them? Elder Taizong, Patriarch Taizong, that disciple has resigned. After the disciple finished speaking, he was about to exit. Xuanmingzi saw the regretful look on his disciple's face and asked one more question, is the outsider a man or a woman? The disciple said, she is a little girl. It is a pity that she is about to die from a thunderstorm at such a young age. Kai Lingzi's eyes moved slightly, and then he shook his head. How could it be such a coincidence? It had been more than 10 years, how could it be her? Besides, they didn't leave any breath on little friend Fang. The universe is hidden in the dark void. Without a guide, it would be impossible for little friend Fang to find him. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 14-13 Divine Fox Clan 1. Kang Lingzi thought of this and glared at Xuanmingzi. It's all Xiao Ming's fault. If Xiao Mingfei hadn't pulled him away, maybe he can have a good chat with Fang Xiaoyu, know the universe where the other person is, and leave the other person's aura. In this way, even if they're separated, he will still have the opportunity to visit Fang Xiaoyu in the future. Let's take a look at whether Xiao Feng's ancestors are related to people with the surname Feng. Instead of being like now, I can only pray that little friend Feng will not get lost in the dark void and find a place in the universe as soon as possible. Hey. Forget it. It might be a good thing for little friend Feng to just say goodbye. If she really comes here, it will definitely attract a lot of attention and fear. Those guys might not be able to tolerate little friend Feng because of the dark hearts. Kai Lingzi just comforted himself. I heard Xuanmingzi ask the disciple, what are her characteristics? When the disciple heard Xuanmingzi's question, he recalled it and said, Ancestor Taizong, her strength is in the early stage of the creator of the world. She is dressed in green clothes. The clothes don't look like a simple magic weapon. After hearing this, Kai Lingzi stood up suddenly. Grabbed the disciple by the collar. Are you telling the truth? Is she over 20,000 years old? Kai Lingzi asked excitedly. The disciple looked confused and said nervously, yes. Xuanmingzi stepped forward and rescued the disciple. You go out first, we know this. The disciples fled and left. Yeah. Terrible. No wonder the senior sister didn't want to come in and report, so she worked together to deceive him. When Kang Lingzi saw his disciple leaving, he screamed, Xiao Ming, why did you let him go? I haven't asked him clearly yet. I feel it must be little friend Feng. Let's go to Xianyuan continent quickly to find little friend Feng. Please shout louder so that others know her surname is Feng. Xuanmingzi said. Kang Lingzi choked and touched his nose. Little friend Feng's name was exposed. She probably wouldn't be able to leave the Xianyuan continent. Little friend Feng actually came here on his own. Xiao Ming, is it possible that she is really a descendant of the people with the surname Feng back then? Kai Lingzi calmed down and asked. Maybe, maybe not. Xuanmingzi looked serious. It was definitely not an accident for Feng Qingran to enter the universe. The entrance to the universe is hidden. Without the guidance of the breath of this universe, Feng Qingran would never be able to find the entrance. But he and Kang Lingzi did not leave any breath for Feng Qingran. At that time, he also intentionally isolated his and Kang Lingzi's auras, so Feng Qingran could not sense their auras. So now Feng Qingran can come in. There are only two possibilities. One is that Feng Qingran's ancestor came from the universe of the heavens, and the other is that Feng Qingran was brought in by other powerful people from the heavens. Maybe the other party had the same idea as Kai Lingzi and took a fancy to Feng Qingran's qualifications. No matter which one it is, Feng Qingran will have to go through a bloody storm. Just because her surname was Feng, she could arouse the fear and murderous thoughts of countless forces. Xiao Ming, what should we do? Kang Lingzi asked. The disciple just said that there are not many people left in Xianyuan continent to watch Feng Qingran survive the tribulation. We can't rush there, otherwise we will be self-defeating. Xuanmingzi analyzed. Kai Lingzi's eyes were puzzled. Has he ever said this? Why didn't he hear it? Xuanmingzi was too lazy to answer Kang Lingzi's question, and added, Xuanji continent is too far away from Xianyuan continent. We would be a little deliberate in sending disciples there, and it might attract Xuanman's attention. I remember that you were very close to Chu Wuchen from the Divine Fox clan in Xianyuan continent. Kai Lingzi immediately interrupted Xuanmingzi, don't talk nonsense. I was just curious about the past of the Divine Fox clan, so I got a little closer to him. Our relationship is actually average. A rare smile appeared on Xuanmingzi's serious face. Really? There are rumors outside that the ancestor Taizong of Xuanji sect has fallen in love with a male fox from Xianyuan continent. Anyway, the rumors are getting more and more outrageous. No matter what your relationship is, it is most appropriate for him to protect little friend Feng. The Divine Fox clan received favors from people with the surname Feng. They are also one of the few people who do not make trouble for people with the surname Feng. Moreover, the Divine Fox clan has stated that they love beauties. With Feng Xiaoyu's appearance, he was regarded as a guest of the Divine Fox clan, and it was not easy for him to arouse the suspicion of the powerful men. He is a bit inappropriate. Kai Lingzi recalled how the female disciples of the Xuanji sect behaved reluctantly when they saw Chu Wuchen. If little friend Feng falls under the charm of the flirty fox, it may affect his cultivation. Or what if the sexy fox sets his sights on the stunning Feng Xiaoyu? The favorite cultivator of the Divine Fox clan has excellent qualifications and peerless appearance. According to Cao Hu's theory, only by marrying this kind of ascetic can one give birth to the best offspring. Chu Wuchen has agreed, Xuanmingzi said. Kai Lingzi was shocked. When did he agree? Xuanmingzi raised the sound transmission stone, and Chu Wuchen's voice rang out, Ha! Kang Lingzi, I really didn't expect that you don't trust me. Leave this matter to me, you just wait and see. Kai Lingzi couldn't help but tremble. It was obviously a normal thing to say, but when it came out of Chu Wuchen's mouth, it always made him feel like his scalp was numb. Kai Lingzi swallowed and said, Chu Wuchen, don't get me wrong. Xuanmingzi put away the sound transmission stone. He has died. If you want to find him, contact him yourself. Let's go to the Divine Fox clan now. Kai Lingzi didn't want to go. If Chu Wuchen hadn't gotten something wrong back then, he wouldn't have been running towards the Divine Fox clan all these years. Every time he went to see Chu Wuchen, it was a torture for him. But Xuanmingzi didn't give Kai Lingzi a chance to refuse, and dragged him to the Divine Fox clan in Xianyuan continent. The Divine Fox clan lives in the mountains and rivers. It's as beautiful as a dream inside. Practitioners do not dare to step into the land of the Divine Fox clan easily. Only cultivators recognized by the Divine Fox clan can enter here. The ascetics who want to force their way into this place will fall into an illusion and never come out if they are not careful. As soon as Kang Lingzi and Xuanmingzi arrived at the entrance of the Divine Fox clan, a man with stunning appearance came to lead them in. Our clan leader has gone to see the outsiders survive the tribulation. You two can wait inside. The clan leader will return later. The man said politely. Boom. The first blue thunder struck down. Like the thunder of an ancient blue dragon. After Xuanmingzi and Kang Lingzi entered the location of the Divine Fox, they found that they could just see the scene of transcending the tribulation. Xuanmingzi gave the man leading the way a meaningful look. The man placed tea and snacks on the table beside him and left quietly. Xiao Ming, do you feel that there is something wrong with the power in this overwhelming thunder calamity? Kang Lingzi asked worriedly. He has seen many scenes of outsiders going through tribulations. The power of those world-shaking thunder tribulations was not as strong as it is now. Kang Lingzi's divine power spread out, trying to detect Feng Qingren's situation in the sky. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 14 Chu Wuchen. Xuanmingzi nodded. It should be the dark consciousness that manipulated Lei Ji. The consciousness of the great avenues of the universe has been polluted. When they reach this realm, they all feel something. In fact, they can also help the great consciousness to clear up the dark consciousness little by little. But the consciousness of the great Tao will be polluted, which is caused by the powerful people in this universe. Therefore, no one believes in the Tao consciousness. And it is unrealistic for him and Kai Lingzi alone to clear the dark consciousness from Dao. The great Tao Guangming consciousness has long been at a disadvantage. If it dares to be exposed, countless greedy people will be attracted in every minute, wanting to take it for themselves. Under such circumstances, he and Kai Lingzi might not even be able to protect themselves, not to mention cleaning up the dark consciousness of Dao. Therefore, even if Tao consciousness sensed his kindness, he never thought of asking him for help. Xuanmingzi looked through the clouds and landed on Feng Qingran. Maybe she could solve the dangers of the heavens and the universe. Dark consciousness will never target an outsider for no reason. It must have sensed a threat from Feng Qingran. Feng, the wind is quite strong. Cao Lingzi was mid-sentence, thinking of this land of divine foxes, and hurriedly changed his words. Kang Lingzi collected her thoughts and said, Xiao Ming, she shouldn't be in danger, right? Xuanmingzi said, I don't know. At the same time, the second thunder calamity fell in response. Feng Qingran naturally sensed that something was wrong with Lei Ji. But she didn't react. Xiao Feng, the situation in the universe is more serious than I thought. The light consciousness of the avenue can no longer compete with the dark consciousness. Hong Mengshu said slightly worriedly. The boundary trees of each universe are equivalent to its children. To a certain extent, the boundary tree and the Tao consciousness are actually the same thing. They're in a mutually coexisting relationship. If there is a problem with the Tao consciousness, there will be a problem with the boundary tree. Dark consciousness takes over. The world tree lost its vitality little by little and eventually withered. Seeing the child suffering, Hong Mengshu felt very sad. But it cannot favor the universal world tree because of this. The power of merit and faith that should be given cannot be less than that of Xiaofeng. It's better than Xuanchu. Feng Qingran had a wisp of black mist in his hand and looked sharply towards the direction where the thunderstorm struck. The consciousness of Xuanchu Dao was not only swallowed by darkness, but also shackles and rules were put on it. The Taoist master originally wanted Xuanchu Avenue to gradually perish. There are no rules and shackles on the great Tao of the heavens. Logically speaking, dark consciousness should not have the upper hand. Now that the dark consciousness has become stronger, it is probably related to the strong people here. Xiao Feng, are you sure you can clear your dark consciousness? Hong Mengshu asked. Yes, but the time is not right, Feng Qingran said in a message. If you want to clean up the dark consciousness, you must first deal with the existence that created the dark consciousness. Boom. Click. The third lightning strike struck down. Feng Qingran no longer communicated with Hong Mengtri, but concentrated on practicing with the power of thunder tribulation. The power of heaven and earth contained in the power of thunder tribulation is very pure. Conducive to practice. The monks who were watching Feng Qingran's tribulation from a distance also noticed something was wrong with the thunder tribulation. When they saw Feng Qingran, who was unharmed, they were all shocked. Isn't it? It's too outrageous. How can she act like a normal person? Is she practicing? Which cultivator practices when he is going through a thunder tribulation? This is the first time I've seen such an arrogant outsider. Look to the side. Isn't that Chu Wuchen, the leader of the Divine Fox clan? What is he doing here? A group of monks looked at the man standing alone not far away. The man is handsome, dressed in purple clothes, and has a noble temperament that makes people afraid to approach him. As if aware of the monk's gaze, the man turned his head and smiled at the monks. All the cultivators felt their hearts beating wildly, and their eyes immediately started to dodge. What the hell? If it weren't for the fact that Chu Wuchen's charm skills were very good. They all suspect that they like men. There were also a few monks who showed disdain and cursed secretly. Bah! You are so demonic, and you call yourself a clan of divine foxes. I think you are just a demon. Yes, my family has told me to stay away from the Divine Fox clan, so as not to be seduced by them and disturb the Taoist mind. Those who make friends with the Divine Fox are all willing to be humble. As men, they should be majestic, but they are all charming and seductive in the Divine Fox clan. Why do you still call him Wuchen? Don't even look at whether he is worthy of it. If you ask me, the Divine Fox clan should surrender obediently and become our contracted monsters. Why do they practice human Taoism like us? Of course Chu Wuchen heard these words. He carelessly curled his lips and smiled. This smile instantly made the world lose its color. A monk saw Chu Wuchen's smile, and for some reason he became angry at several commentators. The monk pointed at the noses of several commentators and said, the ancestor of the Divine Fox clan was the contract beast of Nuwa Empress. Who are the ancestors of your family? They followed Nuwa to protect the common people and resolve countless catastrophes. What did your ancestors do? Enjoying the stable life brought by the ancestors of the Divine Fox clan, but turning around and scolding the descendants, you have really taught me a lot. In these years, the Divine Fox clan has been in the Xianyuan continent, guarding the entrance to the universe, and has expelled many people with ulterior motives. Do you know? Do you understand? It's a shame that you are still Taoists. You claim to be transcendent from this world. It's really ridiculous. Don't you understand that Taoism is natural and has its own laws? How long has it been before you still easily define a cultivator based on his appearance? Don't you feel shameful? When you mock the Soul clan, what else can you say besides talking about their appearance? You are not as good as them in terms of strength, you are not as good as them in terms of your ancestors' contributions, and you are not as good as them in terms of moral character. How can you have the nerve to talk about the Divine Fox clan? The monk's long speech not only left several commentators speechless. He also left other cultivators dumbfounded. By the way, why did he stand up and defend these family members? He is a demon among demons. If every man were like him, wouldn't the culture of the mainland be ruined? Another monk said unconvinced. Oh, he just behaves in a loose and relaxed manner. Did he act pretentiously on purpose? Did he try to guide you in any way? I really don't understand your reasons for talking about him. The monk had no intention of giving in. The Divine Fox clan was born with tall figures and beautiful appearance. Can you blame them? How the Divine Fox clan should behave has their own definition. It should not be judged by these hypocrites who do not understand the Divine Fox clan. Besides, the Divine Fox clan has been guarding the entrance to the universe of gods for many years and has made countless merits. How can they be denied all of them just because of one appearance? When Chu Wuchen heard the quarrel between these monks, he remained silent. But if you look closely, you can see a flash of pink in his eyes. Junior sister, we really can't roll anymore. Chapter 14:15 Leave me alone, additional update. This monk stood up quickly. Otherwise, those monks will die suddenly tomorrow. As the leader of the Divine Fox clan, Chu Wuchen would not lower himself to argue with these monks. No need. Even less valuable. Talking to an idiot will only affect his mood. But that doesn't mean he's willing to be wronged. The moment they spoke ill of him, they should be prepared for his revenge. After all, people always have to pay for what they do. Chu Wuchen glanced at the monk who spoke for him, who looked filled with indignation. Chu Wuchen waved the feather fan in his hand lightly. After all, there was still a wise man, so let these idiots live a few more days. If they die tomorrow, they will definitely cause trouble for the monk. Stop arguing, look at thunder tribulation. With a cry of surprise, all the monks looked towards the thunder calamity above the sky. The blue thunder tribulation turned into purple black. Moreover, the pressure of thunder tribulation has obviously increased countless times than before. This is no longer a simple thunder disaster. It should be said that it is no longer the overwhelming thunder calamity. Many monks felt the pressure of the thunderstorm and moved away from the sky. Only Chu Wuchen was still in the sky, looking at the purple-black thunder tribulation with unclear eyes. At this moment, Xianyuan continent was filled with monks. I'm a little out of breath. I feel like this lightning disaster can kill me. Have you ever seen such a thunder disaster? It's a bit like the unparalleled thunder tribulation, but it feels more powerful than the unparalleled thunder tribulation. At this moment, an extremely serious voice sounded in the sky of Xianyuan continent. All monks below the realm of the Origin Lord must leave Xianyuan continent. The monks who stay in Xianyuan continent, be careful to add hundreds of protective barriers, and never get close to the thunder tribulation range. Otherwise, you will be responsible for the consequences. This is not a thunder catastrophe during the tribulation period, but a legendary world-destroying thunder catastrophe. When the monks heard the words of the leader of Xianyuan continent, they were stunned for a moment, and then they all followed the instructions. Many monks have never heard of the world-destroying thunder tribulation. But from the words of the other party, one can also judge the horror of the world-destroying thunder catastrophe. Chu Wuchen, get down quickly. Do you want to die if you stay there? The leader of Xianyuan continent roared. Why are you so anxious? Hasn't this been chopped down yet? The world-destroying thunder catastrophe has been brewing for a long time, don't worry. After Chu Wuchen responded, he had no intention of leaving. Due to the terror of the world-destroying thunder tribulation, even the power of divine energy cannot penetrate into the scope of the thunder tribulation. No one noticed anything unusual about Chu Wuchen. Chu Wuchen stared at the world-destroying thunder tribulation without the slightest fear, instead showing a mocking smile. Can't we tolerate the emergence of those who defy heaven? It was the same thing back then. I want to do the same thing again. He didn't want it to go his way today. Chu Wuchen did not retreat, but instead approached Feng Qingran. Chu Wuchen, do you want to die? You will kill her if you do this, do you know? Shouted the leader of Xianyuan continent. The power of the world-destroying thunder tribulation is infinite, and if there are any intruders, the power will only become more terrifying. I'm sensible, don't worry about me. Chu Wuchen was no longer the charming look before. At this moment, his expression was terrifyingly indifferent, and his pupils turned dark pink, which was shocking. Xiao Feng, there is a beautiful man approaching you. Hong Mengshu reminded. It was still shocked that the unprecedented thunder catastrophe turned into the world-destroying thunder catastrophe, when it saw Chu Wuchen walking towards Feng Qingran. It doesn't think the other party will be kind. This is not Kangshuan continent, and there is no communication between Xiaofeng and him at all. He must have a purpose for coming up at this time. Feng Qingran opened her eyes and looked at Chu Wuchen. I will fight against the thunder catastrophe that will destroy the world for you. As for the remaining power of the thunder catastrophe, you can only bear it yourself. Chu Wuchen said. Why? Probably because your surname is Feng. Chu Wuchen said softly. At this moment, under the world-destroying lightning tribulation, those with ulterior motives could not spy on their conversation. When he heard Kai Lingzi say her surname was Feng, he planned to protect her. Regardless of whether she was the one with the Feng surname back then, as long as her surname was Feng, she was worthy of his protection. Do you know the ancestors of the Feng family? Feng Qingran asked doubtfully. Their existences that I can only look up to. I don't deserve to know them. Chu Wuchen's expression showed a little awe. Chu Wuchen threw a few treasures to Feng Qingran, and said, the world-destroying thunder catastrophe should not be underestimated. Use all the protective treasures you have, don't be reluctant to part with them. Feng Qingran heard Chu Wuchen's words and understood that he was not going to say anything more. Are you prepared to risk your life to fight against the world-destroying thunder calamity? Feng Qingran asked. No, I have it. Chu Wuchen raised the feather fan in his hand. Feng Qingran recognized it as the acquired spiritual treasure. But this thing is not enough to fight against the world-destroying thunder calamity. Chu Wuchen looked determined. Fang Qingbran was very confused. Chu Wuchen didn't seem to have seen the world-destroying thunder catastrophe, and he had no ill intentions towards her. So what is his intention in doing this? Fang Qingbran raised his head and glanced at the brewing thunder tribulation. Senior, are you sure this thing can resist the thunder tribulation? Okay, it's the same as mine, you don't have to worry. Chu Wuchen said, as if he thought of something. He threw a token to Fang Qingbran. Seeing Fang Qingbran put away the token, Chu Wuchen admired it and said, after the thunder tribulation is over, take this and go to the Divine Fox clan. Kanglingzi and Shranlingzi are waiting for you. Xiao Fang, is he mentally ill? I believe his cultivation can withstand a thunder catastrophe, but how can that fan withstand a thunder catastrophe? Hong Mengshu also said helplessly. If the world-destroying thunder catastrophe can be carried by magical weapons, Xiaofeng has a bunch of innate treasures in his hand, will he still have to bear the thunder catastrophe himself? Maybe there are secrets hidden in this fan that we can't detect. Fang Qingbran said through a voice message. There are thousands of ways in the world. There are countless things she doesn't understand. Hao Tian Lingbao may have secrets that she doesn't know about. I still feel that it is not reliable. If he breaks in like this, the thunder disaster will be doubled. Hong Mengtree said through the message. It's too late to drive him out now. The dark consciousness has already taken control of thunder tribulation. Fang Qingbran echoed. The dark consciousness has the upper hand, and it can naturally detect something in her that can threaten it. He is anxious to obliterate her. Even if it can't kill her, at least it will hurt her when the world-destroying thunder tribulation comes out. Senior, is there anything special about your feather fan? Fang Qingbran asked curiously. It is a legacy of Empress Nuwa. It contains the divine essence of a Yuanzhen level beast as its soul. It can withstand a world-destroying lightning disaster. It's just a pity. Such beautiful feather fans will no longer exist in the future. Fang Qingbran was shocked when she heard Chu Wuchen's words, Yuanzhen level beast Yuan. No wonder Chu Wuchen was so sure that feather fan could withstand the world-destroying thunder catastrophe. When one's own soul has been cultivated to the point of immortality, and then the soul and the soul are united, the divine soul will appear. Chapter 14-15 Leave me alone, additional update. This monk stood up quickly. Otherwise, those monks will die suddenly tomorrow. As the leader of the Divine Fox clan, Chu Wuchen would not lower himself to argue with these monks. No need. Even less valuable. Talking to an idiot will only affect his mood. But that doesn't mean he's willing to be wronged. The moment they spoke ill of him, they should be prepared for his revenge. After all, people always have to pay for what they do. Chu Wuchen glanced at the monk who spoke for him, who looked filled with indignation. Chu Wuchen waved the feather fan in his hand lightly. After all, there was still a wise man, so let these idiots live a few more days. If they